um, start a recording of this meeting as well. Hopefully, we will see that this meeting will go online so that others can see. So again, welcome to the Entrepreneur Group, and you all guys make this event great. We'll start with Arijit. All you have to do is just unmute yourself and introduce yourself as you go along with what special you are doing in coronavirus situation. Arijit?
Hi, Keith. This is Arijit Mukherjee. I'm presently in Doha. So this is my first meetup like, with this group. I've been in the group for like around 1.5 years, and I'm working as an IT consultant in .NET. And right now, I'm just trying to reskill my like brush up my skills and looking for new opportunities. So just want to brush up my skills as of now. So hope I'll have a great session. Thanks.
Lovely. So you are employed or you are self-employed as of now?
Right now, I'm employed. Earlier, I had a small startup. I think we had a conversation regarding Bachaperaho.com earlier. So I had a startup, but it didn't work out very well. So right now, I'm working with Tech Mahindra, but soon I'm planning to start something of my own again.
All right. Sounds great. Again, whoever has joined, if you can actually turn on your webcam, that would be great. We are lacking a lot of FaceTime these days. So yeah, thanks, Arjit. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So
Should be
anyone
done.
who can actually turn up their webcam and are comfortable, please do that. And even if you have not taken a bath or had a shabby collection, that is perfectly fine. We all look actually the same in a way. I didn't take a bath today, so here you are. So anyways, over to Arjun. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi guys, Arjun here. I just joined. Sorry, I missed few minutes of the before time. Well, introduction round. So I am Arjun. I stay in Mohali and I have an office in Mohali. We have two businesses. One is a HR business by the name of T&A Solutions. The other is a software company, a software product company, I would say. We deal in software as a service for specialized for maritime industry and a little bit in HR. So the company is called Equa 49 Web Street Technologies, and we have been into this business from past about 5 years now, in fact. So yeah, that's about me. Sorry, Ricky, I think you're on mute.
And anything special that you are doing in coronavirus to deal with it? Anything special?
Well, nothing special. We have two very different businesses. One is a HR business, which is never tech savvy. So a lot of struggles there to make them tech savvy to deal with this work from home situation. But then on the IT side, what we have not done anything special. We tried doing things. Yes, we tried scaling up through our digital campaigns, contacting customers, potential customers through LinkedIn and all. It is working, and we see a lot of communication now easily happening, and people are replying easily over social media. So I would not say it's very special, but yes, things have picked up in terms of at least sales communication. May not be sales at this moment.
All right, lovely. We'll move on to Ashish Kumar.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Ashish, how are you?
Fine. So this is Ashish here. I'm a supply chain professional as such. I have around 25 years experience in supply chain management. The last 1 year, I have devoted myself to learning blockchain technology mainly. I'm into developing a few programs for blockchain. And in this coronavirus crisis, I'm learning how to cook.
That's great. All right.
And believe it or not, my wife says I do really good. And this could be a new vertical maybe tomorrow.
Interesting. All right, cool. We'll move on to Deepak Singla.
Hi, Deepak this side, and I'm a digital marketing professional by profession. And basically, I was working with Byju's, and I'm specialized in selling educational courses online, right? So, like after Byju's, I started my own company. It was just 4 months back, and like we have generated around 40 lakhs of revenue in the past 4 months. And basically, that's my specialization, and in that particular field, I'm moving on. And this coronavirus situation, like for the first time after 6 or 7 years, like I have got so much time to spend at my home with my family. So that's a bad thing like which happened to me this time.
Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on, Gopinath. Gopinath, you are on mute right now.
I'm sorry. So I'm based in Whitefield, Bangalore. So I'm right now evaluating certain ideas, and I'm trying to see the market fitness for a few ideas. I think I can use this platform to sharpen the idea. And regarding coronavirus, actually, I'm living alone. All my family is in their native place, so I'm just enjoying little bachelorhood, and in the meantime, building some prototype using code.
All right. Lovely. Lovely. Great. Moving on to Jatin Sethi.
Hey everybody, this is Yatin.
Hey, Jatin.
So I'm actually based out of Patiala, and I watch the entrepreneurs group very closely, but I don't get much time to participate in all the conversations over there. So I am into there's a little startup by the name of Zippers, and about this coronavirus situation, our team has already been 60% team is working already from remote places, and that is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Noida, Ahmedabad. Rest of our team is has been very smoothly moved to their places, and they're working efficiently right now. So we had everything in place already. We are not facing any particular situations right now.
All right. Lovely. Moving on to Nipun Sharma.
Hello.
Hi, Nipun. Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Hi. Hey. Well, like I'm from Ambala. I'm actually working with for a like company. It's named as EduCafe. It's basically a virtual peer-to-peer education system. That's
All
what
right.
we are working for.
Lovely. So, any changes in edutech? I believe that is an industry that should be booming right now.
Yeah,
Right?
that is booming. Actually, we are like currently we have enrolled with 120 plus students working under us. Yeah.
Over just the coronavirus period? Or...
Yes. Yeah. For this 21-day schedule only.
Wow, lovely. Good for you. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Moving on to Ravi Singh.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ravi, and I run a carpool startup. So we launched a full-fledged basic launch version on March 31st, a travel app when travel is zero. So going through a lot of anxiety right now. Just refining the product and yeah, just waiting for the right time when the travel opens and people start using it.
Okay. Okay. Well, a lot of people are anxious right now, so we'll move on to Rudraksh.
Hello everyone, Rudraksh here. I run a cybersecurity company by the name of Khanna Security Solutions, and during coronavirus outbreak, I'm trying to pass my days by watching some Netflix series and just doing some rereading of old books.
All right, lovely. Moving on to Sachin Jain. Sachin, you are on mute right now.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm clear now?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So I have been working with Bosch from last 21 years in sales, majorly in OE sales, B2B business. Took a break from corporate world this February end only. Started or I'll say I have put my foundation for a new startup called My Laksha Consulting OPC Private Limited. Yesterday was the day which I got my uh, MCA incorporation certificate also. So I'm using this COVID break to put my things in sync so that I can take this startup next leap for once this is open. Parallelly, I am also a certified Arfin Khan transformation coach. So I'll be doing that in parallel.
All right, lovely. Utkarsh Singh.
Yeah, hi everyone. For most part, I'll be keeping my videos off as I'm eating. I'm pretty sure no one wants to see that.
No, we
So,
want to see that. So please feel free and please share whatever that you are eating.
okay, other than that, I'm running a marketing firm. We mostly specialize in social media. I'm doing this for like 2 years for now. So first, things are going good. With coronavirus, one thing that has changed is my gym was going pretty good for me. Now I can't go there. So I'm finding new places to work out. I found out dinner table is a good place to do your push-ups and dips. New things you learn every day.
Very good. Nice. Moving on to Virat Sharma.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Virat. Actually, this is the first time I'm joining you all. Utkarsh is my basically business partner. We are doing the same business from 2 years, and he is the one who introduced me to the Chandigarh Entrepreneurs Group. And about the coronavirus, I am basically got a opportunity to work with a organization. I am helping them in live streaming nowadays. Like they are collecting artists from various countries, so they come live on Facebook. I collect that live screen and put it on their YouTube channel. That's what I'm doing in this coronavirus thing. Apart from the thing, like yeah, we work from home, so everything is working fine.
All right, lovely. So we'll start the second session now. Introductions are done. Sorry, there's some people who have joined. I believe Nalin Vyas has joined recently. Nalin, would you like to introduce yourself before we move on to the next session? Nalin, you're on mute right now.
Hi, hey Nikki, definitely. Yes. Hi everyone. I'm Nalin. I run a video production company in Bangalore called as Flying Chapel Productions. And I'll just switch on my camera. Yeah. So I run a video production company called Flying Chapel Production in Bangalore. And I've been part of the Bangalore meetup once. And that was very insightful and very exciting experience. I have had issues before, but no, today I'm just here to hear other people's interactions.
All right, lovely. So introductions are done. We'll move on to Arijit. This is the second round of the session. And in this session, you get 10 minutes to talk about anything. And for those of you who have not attended, this session is something that you can use to validate your idea or any problem that you're basically going through. Or it can be anything like sales, marketing, how to survive the coronavirus thing, or product design. You want to validate the things that you are doing right now. Anything basically goes. You have 10 minutes. Use them wisely. Keep the time for the community to respond back to you so that you can collect enough feedback that is useful to you. And yeah, so we'll start with an alphabetical order again. We'll move on to Arijit.
So as you know, like this is my first session, so I was not aware of like that we had the idea validation stage of it. And as of now, I'm not even working on any specific product or something. I'm just trying to learn. As of now, I'm trying to learn the IoT, and I have worked with a little bit of Google Assistant. So I'm thinking if I can do something to merge the IoT technology with systems, that would be good. But I think it would be great, like if I can listen to, at this time I can listen to some other people, and then if at the end we have some time, I can just give my input or like something like that. Thanks.
Sure. You can always pass on your time to someone else or donate your time to someone else. Shall you want if you don't have anything to talk about? We'll move on to Arjun.
Hi guys. As of now, this moment we are not doing anything new, so I don't think we have anything new to say. But just for a few minutes, I would like to know how are you actually facing this situation in terms of working from home? Like certain challenges, what we face is I just pointed on the group we are facing some hardware challenges by not one, a lot of our employees. किसी का Windows are not working, certain softwares are not working, or somebody's facing an internet challenge. So any ideas on how do we overcome, especially the internet challenges? Because most of them are using mobile internets. Any new thing which has come in market which can actually improve the access speed, or sometimes we have to download larger amounts of data. So by it's not really possible by mobile internet, or there are no packages available currently. So anything on that, if somebody has experienced.
I believe Jatin Sethi has been working primarily remote. Jatin, would you like to share some experience that you are facing?
Yeah, the only issue that we have seen so far is that the Geo is not working properly in many parts of the country. But Airtel is doing fine so far. I have been myself traveling since 18th of March. I have switched from Gurgaon to Haryana back to Punjab within this curfew and lockdown as well. And Airtel is performing very well. Apart from that, no new technology that I have come across.
Nipun, are you doing something as well? You are primarily offline or online, right? Okay, no problem. Anyone else who is?
I was facing some issue with Wi-Fi with this Zio, but I got one Wi-Fi extender. This was quite useful for me to use in the full house actually. There's one add-on which I have done recently to fight this speed issues.
Yeah, but then problem is that we are not accessible to the hardware, or even we can ask our employees to get the broadband connections with their home. But at present time, nothing is available. So
Surprisingly, Arjun, I would like to add BSNL Bharat Fiber service is available. Yeah, many
so we
people
can
have
ask
not heard about it, but
right.
BSNL is actually providing FTTH solution. I'm using one in a deep location somewhere in Himachal Pradesh. So they have fiber even available in the remote locations. So
But are they giving connections right now?
yes, actually it's under essential services. So there
Okay.
are installers that can do that. I
Okay.
just got it installed, another connection in this quarantine itself.
That's a great piece of information. I think I would work on that.
One of the things that we have been
I
doing.
had to add something to that. I was facing an issue. People were saying they're using dongle or a Wi-Fi device. Um, isn't the speed very similar to a regular phone connection, and a regular hotspot packages is all that they have? Because I was trying to give that to one of my teammates, and it just had a same phone connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is a SIM card only. This is a phone SIM card only which works in these dongles.
My question is, yeah, Sachin here. My summation is, I have felt that this dongles, Geo dongles, work much better than the mobile phone connection. This is my personal experience, because I think for mobile phone there are other applications also which will keep on running parallelly, wherein you are not able to use the full bandwidth. But with Geo, this dongle, speed is much better. We only use the dongle.
Okay. Okay. So does BSNL have a dongle kind of connections going on right now as well?
BSNL about dongles I don't know, but FTTH, the fiber connection they are providing. For it actually costed me in the ballpark figure of 3,800 or something like that for the installation and everything. But it's actually quite stable, 50 Mbps with a very low latency. So right now I'm using that one.
Okay. Because for us the solution was that the critical resources who had to work are like staying in office right now, and we're just uh, that's our for months. That's just our camping place.
Well, that's good. We don't really have a choice to to make them work from office. Everybody's around this town, so they are not exactly in Mohali or Chandigarh. They've gone. That's the challenge. I would try that BSNL fiber thing. I think that's a good solution.
So one of the things that we have done with our employees is, and this is something that some of our employees did voluntarily, that they started to actually work late night when nobody's hogging the networks. So that is when the bandwidth is pretty much free and the speed is good and people are able to actually work. So they would pretty much sleep through the day and start working on night. So that is what some of my guys are actually doing. Don't know if that is something that basically helps you.
People with families are a little hesitant. Obviously, bachelors have this kind of routine; they can do it. So I think next time onwards, we should hire some bachelors as well.
Yeah, probably. That's a great strategy for the next coronavirus. That is.
No, but yes, you have to be ready. Luckily, we had prepared ourselves a day before. On the Friday last weekend, we had done a mock drill of doing work from home, and it worked for us. One of the employees' laptop was not working, so we gave him the desktop itself. But we were lucky in that matter. However, everyday challenges do occur. Okay,
Right,
I think I'm done with my question. Okay, we can
all
move
right,
on.
all right, lovely.
I would like to add something. I think what you can do is like you can give a flexibility to the employees. Like if somebody is working in the evening, they can only work for 6 or 7 hours instead of the regular 8 hours. That could give a benefit that they can switch to the evening shift for you, maybe, or like slot wise they can work something.
Yeah,
Regular things.
Arijit, we are in IT, so I mean, for IT we can do that. Yes, we do that. Absolutely, we don't have any time restrictions at all. But then there's another business for HR where we can't do this. They have to do certain callings during the daytime, so that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
okay, I
lovely.
think we can move on.
We'll move on to Ashish. I believe Ashish, you have joined late, and you can help us with your introduction first, and move on to the second session. No, sorry.
I've already given my introduction.
So sorry. So this is very confusing for me. This is what I'm doing for the first time. So I apologize. Yes, Ashish,
Yeah.
go ahead with your session.
Okay, I was building this web page where I was trying to integrate a payment gateway. So I started with Razorpay as it was suggested by the community. And they kept on asking me one question after another for the last 1 week or so. And then they suddenly said that, sorry, we cannot approve your account for whatever reasons. Without giving any reason, they said that we cannot do that. So next I went to PayUmoney. I submitted my whatever requirements they had, but they have not come back to me for the last 3-4 days. So any other payment gateway do you suggest I should contact who has got a better response time maybe in this period of crisis?
Ashish, very surprising to hear about Razorpay. I had a great experience. I don't know, maybe the guy, the team you were speaking to, they're very responsive.
They are very responsive. They kept on asking me one question after another for 1 week. And then one day they said, sorry, we cannot do that for no reasons. So let's close the recipe chapter. PayUmoney I've contacted, but they have not come back to me. It's been almost 72 hours now. So any other payment gateway which you guys have used and would suggest?
Paytm has a self-service, right? You don't need to get any approval.
Paytm?
I think Paytm has easier way. For certain limit, you can do. You can do it yourself. Actually, you don't need any approval. Just give it a shot. As far as I remember, I think it's easier with Paytm.
Isn't Paytm and PayU are actually the same company?
No. PayU is a different company.
PayU is the
No,
merchant section of
PayU is a very different. PayU is a different company. PayU I have used as a gateway before. It's a very different company, but then generally PayU responds very fast. That was the only gateway I could get before, but then time has changed. This time I don't know how is the response of PayU.
So Paytm also uses this API they provide you?
Yes, Paytm itself is also a gateway, but then they disallow. I mean, they don't want any paperwork. I'm not sure because all payment gateways in India does require a lot of paperwork.
They do, yes.
Yeah, but it's very user friendly. You know, they would give you a URL. You can upload all your documents there. But Ashish, just a word of caution here. I dealt with both. I was getting both Paytm and Razorpay. And I had an opposite experience. Paytm was like, I mean, what I could gather was they become so big that, their speed is very, very slow. So Razorpay was fast. So just go with low expectations to Paytm, in terms of speed of response.
Ashish, may I ask that what are you trying to make that Razorpay actually rejected you?
No, they kept on asking me what is the application. I told them that I'm building this app for crowdsourcing. They said that you are working in more than one vertical. I said, no, I'm not working in more than one vertical. I'm only working in one vertical, which is crowd sale. And after that, they said, sorry, our bankers have rejected your proposal.
Got it. Got it. And is there any other way you would like to pursue that if you are going through another payment gateway this time?
Sorry, come again.
Is there any way you are going to pivot your application somehow so that you get this through with another payment gateway? Because payment gateways may actually, stay away from any kind of, easily disputable areas as well.
I was thinking on maybe using the UPI function only. It would be a little, not that easy to operate because many people try to use their credit cards for payments. So if maybe, but still UPI has 1.25 billion transactions in a month. So, and the penetration is also good. So I was thinking on using UPI to start with till the time this lockdown is complete, and then I can maybe get a better response from the payment gateways.
Anyone in the community has experience in integrating with UPI payment gateways, or just integrating UPI on a grassroots level, that is? Nope. So it seems like everyone has used a payment gateway. So that's all the offer that community can offer you right now. So, well, all the best for your payment gateway application in that case. Any other question that you have? You have 3 minutes remaining.
I am also facing some difficulty in making this gasless transaction working. I know it's a very peculiar question. Only people who are working in the blockchain space can answer that. And Ricky, I believe you have some experience in gasless transactions.
I have not in gasless, but I have experience in designing blockchain and blockchain economics, not the technical side of it, not that technical that you're asking. So possibly Tushar is one of the guys that you would like to approach for the same. He may actually give you that idea. He has been working in a couple of blockchain projects. He has been a tutor in blockchain as well for a couple of months as well. So possibly he can actually help you out with that.
Okay, I'll DM.
All right, lovely.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, we'll move on to, there is one more guy who has joined in, Arshit, and kindly go through your introduction first and then your 10 minutes.
Yes, hi Ricky. Thanks for letting me speak. I'm Arish. I'm working with Zua. It's a startup based out of Denver, Colorado, and I'm working currently in Pune as a software developer as well as also taking care of marketing and sales out of it. Yeah, that's short introduction. I have been to just one another meeting back in Chandigarh when I was there, and now from then on I have moved to Pune here and was not able to join after that. Thanks.
All right, and your 10 minutes as well. That any problems that you're facing right now, anything that you would like to share, ask, or get community votes on?
Nothing that I have on mind, but yeah.
All right, lovely. We'll move on then to Deepak Singla.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I have no questions so far. I was just out for a call, so I have no questions.
All right. All right. We'll move on to Deepak Verma.
Hi all, this is Deepak, and I have been following your group for a long time, but it's the first time I'm joining this live chat because of this lockdown. And yeah, it's a pleasure seeing you all and discussing so many good things. Actually, I'm working on a RPA product, trying to build something like UI path. My question is, what's the opportunity there, and what type of features that the client might be looking for, or on the where I can pitch these kind of products?
Anyone in the team has experience with RPAs? So
yes,
yes.
I do have some experience with the RPAs, but I didn't catch the question. Can you repeat it again, please?
Well, I said I'm working on an RPA product, just like the UI path.
Okay.
And I just want to know what kind of audience I can pitch in India or abroad, and what are the features that I can incorporate so that it's a good product for the end user.
Basically, I would like to know what product is that. So, what have you been working on? What's your idea? RPA, yeah.
Yeah, this is an RPA product like UiPath where users can draw their workflows, and then based on the workflows, those things are automated, like website and UI side. This is that kind of product.
Okay, so I have not come across any such audience which have been looking for RPAs into this particular site. Basically, most of the RPAs are done into the scraping part, and most of the times it's into the manual processes. So that's the audience that I have been working with so far. My experience has not been into this side of technology as of now.
Okay.
So probably what you can actually do is that UiPath and Automation Anywhere and all these different, there are, I believe, 3 of them. There is I don't know, Blue Ocean something like that.
Blue Prism.
Yeah, Blue Prism. So these 3 softwares actually have a huge community that is interacting with each other. And if you can just go to the forums, you can actually pretty much capture that what this audience is doing and what they're talking about. And if you actually start mapping whatever that they are saying with whatever the features that you are planning, so pretty much there will be a sync between what they are saying and what you are planning. And with each of the requirements that they basically document over there, you will be able to pretty much create a map, a weighted map and a voted map of what are the features that are most important for this particular software to work. So that is one way you can actually capture the audience voice, the customer voice, and then only focus on those features first.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's it from my side.
All right. We'll move on to Gopinath.
Hi. So I'm thinking of some SaaS product, software as service. So I'm just wondering, how do we collect recurring payments in India for a SaaS product? And is SaaS product even targeted for Indian market? Like, what are the examples? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So basically, SaaS adoption in India is how successful it is, and typical SaaS companies target the US. How can I target US from being in India? And how do I accept recurring payments?
So for Indian customers, in my opinion, Razorpay just launched a product for recurring payments in this case. So you can, except for Ashish, everyone is getting Razorpay as of now. So you should be able to get that. Plus, if you want to target US market, in my opinion, Stripe is the best bet. Razorpay and Stripe, if you say, their even APIs are pretty much similar. So there is a space, just a shameless copy of Stripe, in my opinion. It is. I could be wrong about it, but they are doing. Both of the companies are doing a great job. And from the US perspective, Stripe works well. I have not tried Razorpay for capturing US payments as such, but I'm sure that it works as well.
So actually, regarding US Pay, how do I market to a potential client in the US other than Google and Facebook ads, right? So let's say some HR management solution or anything like this, right? If we were targeting the US, right? How do Indian companies that are based in Chennai are able to target US companies so well?
So we have digital marketers in the group.
Well, we have some clients from US, so mostly what we do is again a combination of things we do for India only.
Okay.
Though, as you know, that marketing there is somewhat expensive, so not everyone can afford those huge marketing campaigns on all the platforms combined. Depending upon your product, LinkedIn works good for those people. Say a combination of the messaging campaigns on LinkedIn, some organic posting, you show some your authority, and obviously the main part for your initial leads will be these paid ads only. You start from there, you build some clientele, then based on that clientele you grow. Like that thing has been working for us for most of our clients.
Okay.
But LinkedIn is basically working for B2B sales, right?
Yes.
Maybe Gopinath, you can actually give a little perspective on this thing. That what is the product that you're trying to solve?
Yeah,
If
actually,
that probably people over here, there are other marketers as well. They will be able to suggest you some of the campaigns that you could be running.
Right. There are a couple of ideas around supply chain management, basically. So this is purely B2B. For example, in the current company that I'm working for, we are a B2B2C company. We have a problem dealing because we don't have information about our dealers. Only distributors has information, and we don't know the inventory which is left, how much is left at the dealer level and distributor level. So a lot of problems. I'm just thinking about a software as service, but that is targeted towards B2B companies who are selling physical products, who are not selling through Amazon. So, I mean, how do I reach them? I mean, I'm just doubting how I can reach them efficiently in a cost-effective way.
So you already ruled out, say, of course, Google is one of the ways, Facebook is one of the ways, and Utkarsh already talked about LinkedIn approaching. Any other ideas that the community can, help Gopinath out with?
I can tell my experience, since we have been working on SaaS products from last 3-4 years, and these are for very niche industries. Like you said, supply chain, we are for a maritime industry. These are very niche industries. There are very few companies in India, and there are a lot of companies abroad. How did we approach? Was we first covered complete Indian companies where we could meet them face to face, and we could understand their problems or our product fit, or we had to iterate definitely. And we also came up with new products depending on the market's requirements. So because the first product which we made was the best product according to us, but then we never tested market for that. But then after that, when we went out to the market, the market told us what should be the next product. We found customers basis our MVPs, and that's how we went on approaching. We thought maybe Europe was the best market for us. London must be the best market. Hong Kong, Singapore, these were the best markets for us. But then sitting in India, first, it is difficult to approach B2B customers. Secondly, you are not prepared for those markets yet, unless you have really tested your product. That's what we felt. Until we test our product, we are sure about our product, about our product quality, about our product presentations. Because when you're doing B2B business with larger companies, like even supply chain for that matter, you just get one chance to show it to them. And if you're not prepared for that, it becomes very difficult. And recently, in this coronavirus situation, what we have seen was there are certain companies in Europe. One of the companies we had proposed to, they are using our product, and they just give references to their fellow mates, and their bosses are in touch with each other for these B2B products. Especially if we are really solving any of their problem, they just refer you right away. That's the best way to sell in B2B if you are getting referred by some top bosses of the company, because ultimately B2B products in companies are approved by top bosses only.
Right.
It's not in the bottom of the chain unless it's not an expensive product. So that's my take. You select your first market and then you keep on expanding you should have your online presence. People will come from outside India to via your online presence. They are incoming people, and you will gain experience from them. But going out and reaching out everywhere in the world, you don't have a strategy then.
Right.
Deepak, you wanted to say something?
Basically, I would like to share one of my experience too, like how basically we captured clients from US and UK for our digital marketing services. Well, basically what we did, we created meetup groups like Ricky has over the meetup, right? And basically we were creating events like meeting events, and we used to conduct webinars like this we are just having at this point of time. And then in that webinar, we first of all, we would ask like what kind of problems they are suffering and how basically we can help in getting them. And like if there are 10 people in the session, and we were closing around one person in every session. So that's how basically we were creating different events in London. We had a different group for London, we had a different group for New York, and we had a different group for Australia. And that's how basically we were collecting the people from different countries and presented us and fetched the sales from these abroad markets, right? So that was my experience in that field.
So that is the services sector, but definitely this works for product market as well and SaaS products as well. There are ways in which you can actually arrange campaigns in a webinar format. And there are ways in which you can actually have the entire thing recorded actually, but projected as it is being run live. So that also basically works as a massive lead generation channel as well. There are certain webinar softwares that are just designed for this purpose. Like, projecting if this is actually running live, but it is not, it's all recorded. So that also kind of gives you the way in which you can just record one of the best, your best software, or your best yourself, best your presentation, and project that this is just basically going live. You come out as a very confident product, very dependable product, and people start asking questions. In that case, all you have to do is just answer the chat in that case. So that is something that you can definitely try. This is something that we are trying to do with the B2B product that we are running. So otherwise, we basically depend upon a lot of content campaigns as of now to do whatever that we are doing. So we would actually go to there are certain digital marketing softwares that actually help you to tap into the content campaigns that your competitor have been running, and we basically learn from their mistakes, design our own content campaigns, go big on content. Right now, we are not even running any ads of any sort right now. We are still getting like 150 signups every month just through content campaigns. So that is also, and this is a B2B software. So this is something that definitely you can actually try out.
Yeah, and your customers are mainly from the US, India.
Just one customer from India. Everyone else is basically, and I'm talking about paid customers. Everyone else is basically, it doesn't matter. It's just one single country we call Earth in a way. So, yep. All right, we'll have to move on from Gopinath to Jatin Sethi.
I didn't have any questions as of now, but also this is my very first meeting with you, and I have been thinking to propose that we should do this online more because I have not been able to reach Chandigarh for these meetups yet. So if in the future I move to Tri-City, I'll definitely start joining these meetups. But so far, it would be great if we can do this more online. And the question that I have right now is, I really want to notch up my business and I want to increase the revenue, but none of the partners, including me, are into sales. So I'm pretty much confused whether I should hire a whole sales team or we should start with BDE. Somebody can guide me in that direction. That would be great.
So you are just 3 partners?
We are 3 partners, along with we have around 9 to 10 people team.
and you are the only one who is in sales, and there is nobody who's assisting you as of now?
Even I am not into sales. We all three are techies.
Okay. And this is a services format, right?
Services, yes. And we also have a SaaS product which we have not been able to market yet, and we have not been able to focus there as well. So I have two verticals right now. One is service based and one is product based. And right now I would definitely like to focus on the service side first.
Because it pays the bills.
Yes, it does. You have to run the whole thing.
Okay. So any experience, guys? Any wisdom from the community for Jatin?
Well, money is the good motivation. So
Always.
so you have to market it, and obviously you can't hire someone who has high experience with marketing and all. So what from where you can start? You can start from LinkedIn, a very good platform, and there's various tools available to like automate message and all. You can Google it, and there's a tool like LinkedIn Helper. You can try it on, but yeah, try it very like
Virat, I
comes
believe that the question is how he brings in the sales thing. So what you are suggesting is a marketing channel. So he wants to ramp
Yeah.
up the sales team right now. Jatin, correct me if I'm wrong.
Right, you're right, Vicky.
Okay, so what the way I'm going. So the sales team is either you can hire someone if you that pockets allow you. That's the thing. But otherwise, you what you can do, you can do it start from your own. Like you said that all the co-founders is not in like marketing, is not in the thing. It's always some techie, and I can feel it because I'm also one of them. So I see. I'm saying that because I did that I started promoting my product that way. I got something, I got some product, and then I hired someone who can actually do that for me, like for 12 hours a day, like that.
So how do you hire someone whom you cannot evaluate on any basis? Like since you have no experience there, how can you hire a guy from sales? How will you evaluate that whether they're
Well, the best thing is try and test.
all
What
right?
we do, we hire for a week, and if he goes well, then we hire for like
So
that
it's
we
a
do for everything.
trial
Try
and
and
error
test.
based.
Freelancer?
Sorry?
Yeah,
Can you try out a freelancer
yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
on Upwork or freelancer.com?
not yet. Not yet.
I suggest you do give it a try. You give them some small, somebody else has also said, give them a small project, evaluate their performance for a month, and then scale up.
All right, that's a good suggestion. So we have been hiring for the development. We have a pretty rigorous and good process, almost automated in every manner that we could for the tech people. But since we don't have any experience in sales, we usually end up being confused and end up procrastinating it or delaying it for the until or unless it will become something we cannot avoid.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And the good thing is, whomever you hire, give him incentive on each sale. Like it will like basically motivate him to basically promote your product more. Try that.
Jatin, may I add something here? So I'm a techie by education and experience, but I am an entrepreneur now, and my only responsibility in the company is sales primarily. I'll tell you what has made me change over a period of time is um, uh, I was just trying to solve problems again and again. So your solution is, if you hire, I can understand your entire dilemma of you have no idea how sales works. So how will you pick the person first?
Right.
Guiding the person is altogether a second step. But before that, how will you pick the person first? So in that aspect, I will say two factors that can help you understand this is, has that person worked somehow in the sales cycle of a product similar to yours, or a target group similar to yours? If you have a target group of say B2B finance on fintech specifically, and then if you have someone who has worked in sales of fintech before, then that person you can trust a little more than just a try and test. Okay. Second option which you can have is which we often work on for a smaller team. You will always find people around you who are passionate about the similar kind of industry as you are. So you can do a intern to hire or trial to hire kind of a thing, where you give them an opportunity of 2 months to be just around and try to pitch your product, and say you can get a percentage out of it, 10, 15, 20, whichever percentage works for you, and let them try it for a month or two, whether that goes well or not, and accordingly you can just move on. So one beauty about that approach is you can work simultaneously with 5-6 people.
Right.
5-6 people can simultaneously be pitching your product, and you can see if it's working with any of those. And according to the results that you get, you can pick either some of those, or you can totally discard the whole idea, saying, you know what, the entire process taught myself as much that maybe I can do it by myself, or I need to look for someone else. But I think it's the BD process is kind of tricky. So it takes you at least 2 to 3 months to finalize on a person who can actually understand your brand as well, and understand your product so well, and deliver as well.
That's a great suggestion, Nalin. Thank you.
I believe there are a lot of outsourcing companies over here, and I'm sure that you guys are selling right now. Feel free to share how the sales are working.
I would like to share something. Hi everyone.
Hey,
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
So first, I would like to ask you what sales channels have you used yet for your product?
Sorry?
What sales channels have you used yet for your product?
Actually, right now I'm focusing into the services. So we are based off from Upwork, Freelancer, and some referral-based clients.
Okay.
That's the area that I want to, notch up. I want to have more recurring clients rather than one-off projects.
So you haven't made a sale by yourself yet?
No, I'm not into sales. I'm pretty much scared of it as of now. So I end up focusing on tech more than sales.
Okay, so one thing I would like to share one of my experiences, and would like to explain a little how you can fit it into your particular scenario. So back in 2016, I scaled my virtual assistant team from 2 to 13 less than 10 days by using Internshala. Okay. So what I did, I posted a lot. I posted internships, virtual internships on Internshala, and I described a well enough JD to get enough applications, to get enough candidates on board. So, but that is only one part of the problem, that getting the human resource. And honestly, college guys are very free these days. They will jump on anything. The main problem is process. What is your sales process? You need to define that particular process. And that's why I ask you the question, have you made any sales yet? Because see, what I did, there was a process I needed to automate, and for that I had a particular set of people. So first you need to define that particular process by at least doing a one sale. Okay. So once you do that one sale, just develop a operational manual for that. So for example, you use a particular pitch, right? So you can document that, and then you can give to, let's say, 3 or 4 interns that you hire. And then what you can do is you can do A/B testing on that pitches, that how well it works. And the right combination of process plus people will work out for you. And you can iterate very fast by using the huge number of interns.
Right.
If you are able to attract right amount of interns.
Right. I got you. So this is basically what the e-myth says.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, so one of my favorite books.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Jatin, Sachin here. I would like to just add a few things what already this team has added. See, I have been to sales from last so many years. It's 20 years from B2B only.
Okay.
Nobody better than you yourself can convince a customer for a sale.
Right.
Right. So first of all, whatever you do to increase your sale, like your team and all, being in transformation also, the point which I got a hit from your words was that you were afraid of going into sales.
I
First
am.
of all, you have to get out of this afraid,
Okay.
whatever the thing is. Nobody in this earth can sell better than the person who is developing a product. This is my way of seeing the situation. If you are
Completely
not
agree
able
with that.
to, if you're not able to understand from the customer, you will not be able to convince him back for your product. And nobody else who is sitting outside that whole product development can convince him.
Agree.
I was working with Bosch, and yes, we have got a sales channel, but my R&D was also part of my sales team, and we have got engineers who were into R&D working for sales, going back to R&D. So suddenly done, we develop a sales team, but the part which you told, afraid of developing yourself as a salesperson, come out of it. This is my this is my say to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I totally agree with Mr. Sachin over here. I think that if you are 3 partners and 10 people team, someone must be selling, which is why you were able to actually get to this point, right? So even if you say basically you are a developer, but you have been the one who has been getting all the clients or your partners, then someone is selling actually, whether they actually admit it or not. But the thing is, it has been happening so far. That is how you got over there. And all you have to do is you have to scale this, the sales process that you guys have already developed. Now, understanding from the nature of your business, I believe this is a software services that you're basically providing. So this is highly technical. And this is something that has been working for you because sales for your services comes naturally to you right now, because, well, you're selling your expertise as of now.
Right.
But all you need to do is the kind of neurons that you have in your brain that have been selling this, you have to implant those neurons into someone else's brain now, so that they are able to scale this process. I would definitely agree with how Devadeep touched on it, that how he was able to expand this particular process. So all you need to do is document the sales process that you have been following so far, and try to scale that up, try to train that into the new breed, and try to raise a sales team. One word of caution over here is that someone needs to be in sales team. That is how your entire business is running in a way. If everyone is running from that, then who is looking after that particular process, that the one that is actually making your company go in a way? So someone needs to take up the charge and say, not be afraid of it, not be shying of it, but take up the charge and say, this is something that this is my forte now. I'll take care of it, come what may. I'm not going to bother. Don't bother me with the technical things at the same point. And this is something that I'm going to take care of. And it's highly important that you basically earmark that among your partners. It can be just a division of time, or it can be 4 hours you will work on your technical projects and 4 hours you will work on sales only, or there can be one single resource that can be dedicated to that thing.
Right.
That's my input.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, we'll move on. I'll ask Devadeep, who joined recently, and Mani Gupta also joined recently. Please introduce yourselves. Devadeep, you first.
Hi everyone, I'm the Vidip. My major experience has been into IT and business. I was teaching full stack development in Chitkara on the behalf of Upgrad, and that's pretty much it. My interest areas are education, tech, business, and psychology.
All right, lovely. Mani Gupta, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself under 1 minute.
So Mani says his mic is not working, so he has sent everyone a message.
All right, I'm not looking at that. Anyone else who has just joined and not been introduced yet? All right, we'll move on from Jatin to Nalin.
Hi everyone. So I'm a filmmaker. I run a video production company. My background is with education and experience with IT, and from there I moved to video production. Um, our challenges, I'll say we were very much in the growth upward growth curve. From the last meeting, after the last meeting, a lot of things changed, and just when we started growing, and some really big accounts we were able to open, and before we could have closed them, close those deals, guess what, coronavirus happened. So we are sitting in a situation where we are all equipped to create content. We can video production is one of our expertise, but at the same time post production is also one of the things that goes on for long time, and we have been providing services for a lot of businesses and agencies. So my question to you guys is, how are you guys communicating with your clients, with your user base, or any? There are some people who are working on social media marketing or digital marketing. I wanted to know, how are you still addressing the requirement of your brands or of your clients? One thing that, and second thing I wanted to ask about is, which are the other brands? Like I know Practo is doing really well in these times. Swiggy is doing good. Dunzo is doing good in terms of services. I don't know about the turnover, but their presence and their interaction with the customer is still very active. So these are the brands I know are actively working. Are there any other brands that you know? Because I'm, to be very honest, I'm trying to reach out to them and pitch them.
Well, for the first part, like the second part, obviously I can't answer. The first part, see, for us, even before this pandemic, this used to work pretty well for us. Most of our client base is already from Delhi only. So we used to do weekly meetings with them, or 15-minute, 30-minute things, in which we have an agenda of new things that we want to do, any problems they have, and progress on current things. Basically, this used to work well for us. Everyone is in the loop, and we used to meet once in 3 months, and that used to help us retain clients for, say, 1.5 years.
Maybe I was not very clear with my trouble. The trouble is not about how to connect to them. Connection wise, technology is there to help us out and reach out, and we can plan everything. Everything can work. My problem is with the requirement, because suddenly a lot of brands that we are working with who are in the consumer segment, their requirements have reduced because their sales are hit, their profits are hit, so they are cutting short on budget for marketing. So people who are working in the marketing domain would, I wanted to ask, how are you addressing that?
See, for me specifically, most of our clients, we have stopped the sales activities because they are pretty much useless at the point for most of them. We have moved, say, 60-70% of those resources to branding. Like that's what we consider secondary, like sales always first. But currently, for most of them, that's what we have done. We focus more on branding. We focus more on running more experiments with your content because we have all the time in the world. And when this thing opens up, we'll be in a better position to generate leads. But yeah, there's always some loss.
And what about your clients?
Yeah.
Are they also keen on creating content online? And please tell me the ticket size, which you're, if you don't mind. What
Yeah,
range
see,
of
for
product are you
me,
looking at?
the average for per client product goes for 25,000. So for them, the worst case has been they have reduced to 10,000. The normal case has been they reduced to around 17.5 and still at 20.
This is INR or USD, please?
INR. If it was USD, I would have been so much happier.
Of course, why not?
All right. So, any other feedback, guys?
Yeah, I think Utkarsh rightly said, this is for certain businesses, this might be the branding time. For your own business, it might be a branding time as well. But then you had asked certain industries which are working. Education industry is booming right now. A lot of platforms want to move to digital media to advertise themselves. And I personally know a few people who had just very simple LMS applications, but they are very, very busy right now because they were in touch with various clients before, and they are installing very simple LMS applications at an exorbitant price. So one industry is education, definitely. Grocery industry is not branding. It's become a necessity. So everybody wants it, and they know the local people where to get it. So I'm not really sure if they're spending any money on branding. But then people who want to sell something new, which was not there in the market, only digital goods can sell right now. Physical goods can't. So that is the digital goods industry you may be interested in currently, and a lot of time for your own branding. So once this thing open up, people would know, and people are very active on social media these days, so they would know about your brand beforehand. That's my take.
Deepak, you want to say something?
Yes, as Arjun just mentioned, I'm also working in just education sector. Like I'm selling education courses online, and basically I have 2 or 3 different type of clients. And when we are selling different type of courses, the major thing which I'm doing these days is as most of the companies and organizations have cut their marketing budgets online. So basically, the cost per 1,000 impressions, like CPM prices, has been fell down. Like it has been a drastic drop. It's been around 1/3 or half of the original prices, like which we were having around 15 days back. So we can test different type of things. We can test different like campaigns or things like, and that's how basically we are booming. We are basically generating as many leads as we can during this time. We have increased our ad budget and generating leads and conducting these kind of sessions and fetching sales for ourselves. And ticket price which I have is like for my clients is it's between 4,000 to 5,000 rupees per ticket size, and we are conducting around 3 to 4 sales a day for our educational products. So that's how basically we are generating sales for ourselves.
So I believe that Nalin has a much higher ticket size as of now. But
I'm honestly looking at in multiples of tens of lakhs. So that's why I'm reaching out to Diageo and Reebok and Homeland kind of brands. That's the kind of work that has stopped coming in. My expectation was from that side. So like still those brands need to have their online presence, and that's why brands like say Practo and all will still need that presence because currently they are servicing as well. So even they need to reach out to people.
You see, Nalin, a lot of companies have been forced to go online because of the circumstances. And due to that, a lot of opportunities, at least in the digital space, in my opinion, have opened up. And definitely putting yourself into that situation where you are more approachable to people who are transforming themselves from offline to online. And even Adidas and Reebok, probably, they are not responding to you because they have, I'm not sure, they have elaborate video production teams that at least handle the online part and not the offline part, maybe. So probably another thing that, like education industry is booming right now, LMS is doing right now, probably you can just start building a portfolio around that and start hawking that around that. This is the kind of work that we do. And so geared towards any industry that basically is able to survive in these times, probably is something that you can actually do in a way. But we are not even sure that how long this is going to last right now. And so possibly you are looking at short-term sales right now, because this is short-term. In my opinion, it is short-term. But if you're not really getting if short term is not something working for you right now, or even if closing, I'm not sure that what your sales cycle is for 10 lakh 2 lakh to 10 lakh ticket size. Sales cycle, in my opinion, should be a little larger than anyone who is signing up clients for 10 to 25,000 rupees, that is. So if the sales cycle is greater than the short-term sales, the short-term situation that we are in my opinion, then the ideal utilization of your time probably is just building up your brand, building up your portfolio, and planning ahead of when basically this thing opens up. That is my opinion.
That does make sense. I would like how I am, again, that's just my assumption, but how I'm looking at it is not just from the next 21 days of lockdown, but as per how speculations are going on in the market or in the circles that I am in,
people are expecting at least 2 months will be impacted by the coronavirus lockdowns and slowdown. Right after that is the impact of these losses that will take down the industries, and right after that the global slowdown, the biggest, the massive elephant in the room that's going to be coming. So I am giving myself a good 2 years time for this. That's why I'm pivoting good strategy for the next 2 years for this, considering that, okay, have some extra bandwidth to play along even after the market comes back.
Have your most of the customers been, offline juggernauts in a way that you are actually serving, and now they are cutting down on their spending because offline really the world doesn't exist?
Yes. In the sense of most of our majority of our turnover comes from offline production, video production of content. That's our majority of turnover. So that can be majorly for ad films or social media content, or even for that matter, events once in a while. All of those involve physical shoots. But having said that, say 1 production or 2 production days goes, the post production for that goes for 15-20 days. So that part is still viable. So that's how I'm say post production, animation, VFX, still motion graphics, those kind of content is still getting created. There's still so much that can be done with footage getting shot by them and post processed afterwards in the studio.
Well, I think I have a slightly different opinion that when things open up, everybody would want to sell their goods, and it will be a race in terms of marketing to sell higher, to sell more, which was not sold in last 2 months. So I think all the service companies would get a good chance to actually pick up on the business end. And in my opinion, certain companies will be gearing up to launch their campaigns in next week or so. So that's just my opinion. I don't know what exactly the companies would be doing. That's just the positive way of looking at it, I think.
I really hope that happens, honestly. But from the updates I've been getting from my clients and so the agencies that we work with, some of the major tickets that we are aware of and we are working with, most of them are mentioning that the major cost cuts will be happening from the marketing department.
Yeah, actually speaking, Sachin here, all this what Mr. Virendra was telling will depend on the availability of cash in hand with the medium class. If that is not there because of just salary cuts, what a situation we are, the cash availability in market will be low, which can impact the further sales. This is my submission for this scenario.
Yeah, I believe that, Naren, first of all, the 10 minutes are over. Sorry about that. But quickly our, conversation pivoted towards speculations in a way. So everything, my sources say is something, it's all speculation right now, at best, that is. So let's stay away from that and possibly, just strategize how we all together are going to get through this. All right. So we'll move on to Nipun Sharma.
Yeah, well, like I have some questions regarding the team management and finding a good co-founder for my company.
Okay, which one do you want to go first with?
Like with anyone. Like I have already talked with Mr. Nilin on Telegram itself. Like I have a company which has been running from like past 2 years, and like we have generated a revenue of more than like 12 lakh rupees. Okay, and like, well, it's basically focused on peer-to-peer education system. We don't have a like proper LMS, but we based only on the G Suite provided by the Google, and it's just like an old school system for the peer-to-peer education system.
So why do you need a co-founder?
Sorry, sir.
Why do you need a co-founder?
Actually, the like in the like past 3 months, I was pitching for the India Fund Fest, And like from there, after that, I was just shattered into pieces. Like we were disqualified from that India Fun Fest after being selected for the top 60.
Reason?
Well, like I don't know. I was minted by Mr. Nalin Singh, and he said ki that it's okay that you should step back from it.
Yeah, but again, possibly the question still stands. Why do you need a co-founder? I mean, like you were rejected. That's why.
No, I just want to like grow my company. Yeah.
Then hire a CEO.
Sorry.
You should hire a CEO. Why do you want to part with your equity?
Why do you need a co-founder? Which functions do you need that need help in your company? Are you bad at sales? Are you bad at tech? Are you bad at something else? Why do you need a co-founder?
Actually, the main thing is I am like basically from a techie background. I'm basically a developer and iOS and Android developer, and I have been like facing many issues in sales. Because only for the sales, we just do one thing. We just hire some interns from the different colleges. Because we have like a huge network of students. Like you can say like from like 29 colleges. We have types with more than 29 colleges all over India. So for the time basis, we do like something like that. We hire some interns from the colleges and ask them to just ambassador who do a sales and earn some commissions from it.
And that is not working well, I guess.
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Vipul,
So.
oh, sorry, Divya, please.
Yeah. Please continue. So I was going to ask whether you have a sales. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I was going to ask whether your sales process is. Do you have any other channels apart from the one you have mentioned?
No, not right now.
Okay. And why can't you hire a person to do the sales and marketing for your company?
Well, like our main focus is only for the peer-to-peer, so that I don't want a person who is like a within our age, say like our 30s or 40s, to do our sales. We just need a person who is like more like 20, 25 years old only.
Okay, but the question still stands. Basically, there are two things to solve a problem. You kind of had a partner when you can't pay him or her, or you just hire someone, and that can be of any age. Basically, you are discriminating right now. What you need to do right now is to solve a problem. So you can't discriminate just on the basis of age. Just
Man,
define
sales
your
are
problem.
sales.
Sales are sales, and you never know what works.
Yeah.
And so define. I think you haven't defined the problem yet, because adding a partner and hiring someone for sales and marketing, these are totally two different ships. And adding a co-founder is more riskier, and it will put you in equity debt. So think about it.
Yeah, I will sure like look into it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. See, the thing is, first stop thinking about the person is like above my age or something. The thing is, he have experience, so you can use it. Think like that. And also, the person is like older than you and all. So user experience and about the pay. See, you try your platform, it's running well. You have a company, you can sell your product. You have that confidence in you, right? So what you need that you are sure about that your product will sell, right? It's not gonna like that you're gonna get in like you're not gonna send and you will pay his salary. It's not gonna be like that. So hire a person, and everyone is saying same thing. Why you are sharing your equity? Don't do that. You are not understanding the like importance of that right now, but after a while when like you said that you earn 12 lakh in like 2 years right now let's see like think about 12 crore, then that person is basically getting 6 crore on the idea which you will. So hire a person and don't think about the age. Like I have various hired MBB like basically IIT pass out and everything, and have experience about 10 to 12 years with big companies and working for them. I am very fine with that. So it's totally fine hiring person above your age.
My question here, Nipun, is are you able to create a product right now? Create your product?
Yes.
Are you able to sell your product?
Well, not that up to the mark, but yes.
Okay. And are you having any troubles managing your team?
Yes. Actually, I don't have a team.
Okay.
Like
So
I added three members in my team, and in the last 4 months they resigned from the company.
okay. So now your challenge primarily is you need a team to function, one thing.
Yeah, to
And
manage
second thing,
everything.
and you would like to have more sales.
Yeah.
Correct, right? So that's your main problem. Now you have to solve it either with a co-founder or hiring someone, or whichever approach you take. So biggest thing you have to look at is what are you trying to solve. Can you do all of it by yourself? That is fine too. If you cannot, then if you need more number of people, then do you have salaries to pay right now?
Yes.
You can pay salaries?
Yeah.
Then hiring is the best option. In that case, it just if you are able to pay salaries, if you have enough profit margins and balance for the runway for the next few months, then hire someone. And as I was answering to Jatin earlier, maybe like that works for me, but how Ricky said it, like, that just made me think about something else as well. Like, you can hire someone as a freelancer, or you can outsource your processes to someone else as well. Be lean, have a very lean team. If you bring in a founder on board right now, co-founder on board right now, that also we talked about this in the last meeting, but having a partner is like a life partner, like finding a spouse for yourself. If it doesn't work, then you have to go through a bad divorce as well.
We talk about that in every meeting, actually.
Yeah, man. I have no issues in my relationships. Okay.
All right.
Pretty happy.
Nipun, what you are looking forward from a co-founder?
Well,
What
like
is
he
the
should have
expectation
like
from a
some
co-founder?
good
Is
management
it financial or experience?
He should be at least a good experience. Like, cause
Experience don't
all of my
come.
friends and the background of themselves are like they have a good experience.
Okay. At what age?
Like I am only 21 years old.
Yeah. So what type of experience you're looking forward for from a co-founder? If you have got the experience with you.
Like a person should have like a ex startup founder or something else like that.
Is there any financial commitment also required by you from the co-founder?
No, actually, I have some friend who helped with my financials. Is
So be clear. Maybe you can clear on your expectations. Getting again agreeing to it. Do you have IP also involved in your startup? Any IP is there with you?
No.
Any intellectual property rights you are having?
No.
I believe that Sachin is interested. He is from sales. And Nipun, I would actually ask you to open up from the kind of discrimination that you have been doing. Sales are sales. Money
Yeah,
has
sure.
no age. Money has no just one color as such. Sales can bring in that thing. And in my opinion, the wiser a salesperson is, the better. And the wisdom basically comes from an age, in my opinion, because this is a skill of dealing with people. And I have still a lot to learn from some of the most wisest people that I have been blessed to be around with. And these guys are in 70s and excellent people in dealing with people as such. So you're looking for a people's person, and people's person as well as people who have done sales in the past. That's the best thing that can happen to you, in my opinion. Good thing for you, in my opinion, is that a lot of these people are looking for a job as well, because just like you, the corporate in today's world, especially the pre-corona kind of thing, they had established this kind of thing that one old because the experienced people also command a lot of salaries. That is one, but that experience actually gets you somewhere. Generally what happens is that with time you have the kind of a compulsion. There is a compulsion for the companies to actually hike a salary of a person every year. That used to be the norm. I'm sure that this is something that people will revisit now. But a lot of people who are experienced, especially in sales, in my opinion, are out of job right now, especially when Reliance folded, especially a lot of telecom companies folded. There were a lot of people who were in sales and they basically got out of job. And make no mistake, man, this is the right time for you to sell. You are in edutech right now.
Yeah.
If you are not selling as of now, you are missing on a lot of revenues. So grab on to anyone that you can see can sell right now. And if they can, then well, hop them on to your boat as soon as possible.
Sure.
You can always, uh, make protocols of how you have been selling so far. Try to instill that in younger team, but always and always have possibly a person who is actually looking after this team and growing and grooming these for you. Mark my words, I'm like, I have seen this industry for quite a while now. I have been in sales, I have been in technical, I have done a lot of these roles right now. I still have a lot of respect for salespeople. In my opinion, you see, everyone in this room, except for Vijender Singh, everyone is a developer, right? And they're trying to market, right? Everyone is looking for sales, and that is something that you need to work on. Without sales, no company is going to survive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple of things to say as well. Well, thanks, Ricky, for that comment as well.
Please introduce yourself first.
Yeah, so this is Vijender Singh. I apologize for joining in late today. So yeah, I am a chartered accountant and I'm also a CPA US. I have seen my years in corporate for about 10 years. And I came to Chandigarh and started my consulting, right? So back on the topic that about the salespeople, what I've seen in my corporate years is that the CEO of the most of the technology companies tend to happen is a salesperson. Take it Apple, they brought in the Pepsi sales head. The very realistic example that I have, that a company I worked for in corporate strategy, the ex-head of Satyam Sales APAC became a CEO of the technology company, right? So when you're looking at the sales people, do not look for transactional benefit. It's not like they're going to come and they're going to make some sales and they're going to go away. If you're looking to, this is the one stream or function of the business that you have to develop. Hire somebody with experience, give them a go, and look for the skills that they will be your next CEOs. No matter how much you develop your product, you need people to sell it at the end. So just for the perspective, so it's not just the salesperson, it's the next CEO of the company. So hire them, try them out, and if you find a good match, be ready to appoint somebody as CEO in your own company. That's my 2 cents.
I think somebody also had a similar question of hiring the salesperson before. And like Ricky said, age is no bar. We have our best marketing advisor who's 78 years old, and we have learned everything from him about sales. So that's something we still do, and he's there with us every time. Actually, he tames us a lot of time, I would say. And yes, that's our experience. The other part, one of our last meetups, there was something which was an advice from Ricky, how they hire people and how they make sure that they are the right fit and they would join the company after their notice period. So what you can do is you can hire somebody who's already working and ask them to work for an hour for you for a month of their notice period, or parallelly to their own job. So you would know their output within a week or two. What are they going to do? So you don't tell them to leave your job, and parallelly you ask them to actually perform for you without any obligation. You would pay them for those 2 weeks. Definitely you should. So that way all things are clear. And everyone rightly said, Mr. Sachin also rightly said that sales is the most important part of your company, and it is best to have one of the founders or co-founders to be a part of the sales or to be leading the sales. Because especially in services companies, we have been a service company before, IT services. If you are not able to sell or you hire somebody to sell, most of the people in this Tri-City region, the companies, smaller companies have formed from these salespeople who were working in another company. So a salesperson can easily form his company. He can hire tech and he can form his companies. So it's that way also. And that's what I feel. I think.
I mean, if you end up getting a good salesperson, you have to hook him for a long term. You can't just be a transaction with a sales team.
Yeah, this is one course like, people management or, dealing with peoples. This is a skill that is not taught anywhere. You can get programmers dime a dozen. Not dime a dozen, I mean, like good programmers are also rare. I mean, good people are rare, in my opinion, but good salespeople are even rarer. If you see, look at this room. Everyone is a developer. So, and we have just one salesperson over here, Mr. Sachin over here, probably. Everyone else might have been doing sales. They didn't even knew. I mean, like Jatin didn't even knew that he's doing sales, but he's doing that right now. Nadal has been doing sales. He comes from a developer background. So, in my opinion, everyone is doing sales. And like Mr. Arjun said, whoever is running a company, he's doing sales in some shape or form. You're selling your product, your value that you are basically delivering. But someone who basically comes from a background who actually understands what is being said in a meeting under the lines in subtle manner kind of stuff, who helps you to open the doors, knock them down and get the sales, get the money out of someone else's pocket without you lifting a finger, I think that is magic in a way. So you are pretty much hiring a sorcerer, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
So,
I would like to tell you my background a bit. I have been working in merchant navy, and I came out as a captain from there. Went into tech, and then from tech I realized I have to be in sales. So I think I realized it with time that sales is much important than anything you're doing in your background. So I think that's the main function. If you're not able to sell, or you're not able to actually convince your customers yourself, you will never have a salesperson doing it for you, unless you're a big industry.
that's true. We'll have to move on to Ravi Singh.
Yeah, hi. So first of all,
Ravi, is it okay for you to share your webcam as well?
No, actually not. So that's the reason I'm sticking to audio, if you don't mind.
Right, sure, go ahead.
So first of all, thank you to being 40 plus and being a sales guy. My first of all, thanks to Virat, Nalin, Ricky, you and Divyadeep for putting in that age thing. Having said that, I would say that I completely understand Nipun's point of view. Also, sometimes you need younger energy. Communication becomes easy with the same age group. Coming back to the agenda, like I told you about my carpool startup Capo. So I'm at a stage we've just launched. So from people in the group who have built companies from scratch, and maybe especially the B2C guys, I just wanted some tips about how to go about it in a digital product like this. What you think will work? Which channel will work better? In my case, especially if the digital marketing guy, I believe Utkarsh is one, if they can give some suggestions. And Ricky, you also, please.
Okay, I might have missed that part, but what is your product exactly?
So it's a carpool. It's in the carpool space. If you have heard about Blah Blah and Quick Ride, etc., it's the same space.
See, like I'll say my personal specialization is mostly in B2B. So I think for B2C, I won't be the best person to tell you things.
Blah Blah is basically B2C. So your experience will count.
That's what I'm saying. I'm mostly B2B. B2C is like not my area of expertise.
Okay. Sorry about that. Can you rephrase your question, Mr. Ravi? Sorry, I got
No.
distracted.
My question, he understood, is just that he's saying he's not the right person for a B2C company like this, or for that matter, not a carpool, but from people amongst you who have built companies for a product whose marketing has just not started, I wanted some tips on how to grow in case of a scalable product.
See, from B2C, and I, what I see is that carpool, from the name and the gist of it, I basically get that you are pretty much like blah blah cars, for example, and if that is the case, then the best. If that is B2B or B2C, anything goes. In terms of digital, every company basically leaves a breadcrumb of how they have been marketing. And with that thing, you can always track these breadcrumbs, these small, subtle, not small, subtle, actually, it is pretty much visible out there that they have been doing this kind of marketing. This is something that they have been investing into. So with that thing, if you're able to tap into that kind of knowledge, that kind of intel, what happens is that you can actually pretty much see that what are the campaigns that have been working for them and what are the campaigns that are not working for them. So pretty much they have been the ones who have been spending a lot of time, many man hours and dollars into designing campaigns, and some of those campaigns have failed, some of those have been a success. So pretty much like if your competitor spend $100,000 and you can actually just drive the intel out of it, that how that money went into it and which dollar amount out of that $100,000 actually was working for them, that were they were able to extrapolate and scale up. And if you can just pinpoint on that particular thing, that is where your the golden nugget is. So of course this basically requires some kind of expertise in digital marketing, at least, so that people can actually are able to actually look at a campaign and decide that what has been working. So possibly you just need to hire a digital marketing consultant over here that can actually get you insights of this thing, be a consultant maybe on board, help you with designing these campaigns. And yeah, that is how you can, if this is something that that you have not navigated before, then definitely you need a consultant, because this particular industry that you are basically tapping into, it's saturated, it's highly saturated. Travel and the taxi kind of a thing, or locomotion kind of thing, it's saturated, as you can see. And this is something that a digital marketing consultant can actually help you navigate pretty easily.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Ricky.
And I'd just like to add something. Even on that part, it's better to have someone who has more experience. Like obviously, every digital marketer has their plus and minuses. Who has created more of these campaigns on the creative side before, like more people focus something new, some new idea, experiments, and all that. So yeah, if you're look for that.
So sorry, Utkarsh, I didn't get you. So creative side vis-a-vis what side?
Say you can see any digital marketers, you can see their portfolio, the campaigns they have made before.
Yeah.
Just look for, if you see them, do you see that spark of creativity that you're looking for? Because as Ricky also said, this market part is very saturated. So you have to be really creative, really stand out to actually drive some good results from there.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I would agree to what Utkarsh said, because the harder the market to actually tap into, the creative you need to get to actually tap into that, so that you can stand out and your campaigns are actively shared, they become viral, and they get the eyeballs in that case. I'm sure that Nalin can actually help you with that, but given that he can fit into your price bracket. So possibly you can actually just have him as a consultant, maybe, that if this is something that will work, kind of stuff. So share some kind of advisory stake with him if he's interested. And that is something that we can do. Advisory stakes are generally, basically, advisory stakes are just like, you can hop in as many advisors in your company as much you can, with just up to 5% stake in your company, 2 to 5% stake, that's it. And
Right.
you can have multiple people in your company as advisors who are giving you a consultancy on various aspects, and all of them basically share a pool of 5%. And that too is something that you can actually give in phases, like in the period of 2 years is something that will be given to you, and kind of stuff. So
Right.
at times what happens is that a lot of these advisors may even invest in your company, because they see the company is being basically groomed into the direction that they always envisioned as well. If that really works out. So of course, the advisors need to be the right match for you in that case. So
Right.
that is something that you can actually do.
Yeah. So Nalin, if this space interests you, I would like to speak to you offline.
Yeah, Nalin, we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Well, yeah. So
Okay.
probably
I think it's audible now.
Is it?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the microphone was an issue. Yeah. So I would love to connect Ravi. Definitely. Let's. I'll ping my number on the chat. We'll
Thank you so much.
connect offline.
I would like to add something to the Ravi's query.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the things that we have discussed mostly related to problem are in the domain of digital marketing. But I would like to suggest a different approach. And you must have heard about it. It's popular by the name growth hacking or growth hacking marketing.
Yes.
So you need to think some out of the box things. For example, Dropbox ran with the referrals, and Airbnb, how they growth hack their photography domain. So if because your product is B2C product and it needs to blitz scale. It's not like other traditional companies. The most of the companies in this group are B2B companies providing services to business clients. So you need a kind of out of box strategy to blitz scale, and yeah, for that I think reading examples is helpful, because some growth hacks are just copy paste techniques. For example, you can run referral anytime, but there are some techniques that you can develop by mixing and matching one or more growth hacks. So that's my suggestion at the moment.
Thank you, Devadev.
Yeah, quite frankly, you know what? I see growth hacking same as what Instagram is to face-to-face networking. I mean, like, it's the same damn thing, just packaged in a new way. I don't see anything very different in growth hacking as such, other than just finding the right spot where you can actually press button for money or press button for leads kind of stuff. I don't see how growth hacking is very different from traditional marketing that just works.
It's not different, but it's what it is, in my opinion, is that it is more of an integration of your product with marketing. Because traditionally marketing is used to be like that. I made this, just sell it out or market it out. But in growth hacking, the thing is that you're building that is good at selling. So
in that case, everyone is growth hacking anyways in that case, because if your marketing is not integrated with your product, then I mean, like, what are you doing? Right.
Like, even when we market for all our clients, the end goal is sales only. And all of the process is only this key. We run a bunch of experiments, whatever works, we scale based on that, and the process goes on. And the end result is sales only. I've also read about this growth hacking thing because during this pandemic, due to things. So I also wasn't able to find something different. Maybe I missed something, but so far so forth, I just think it's the same thing.
Yeah, Devadeep, can you give an example of a contrasting example? Like, okay, this is possibly digital marketing, but this can be classified as growth hacking. What is the contrasting difference? I am not able to gather that so far.
So one of the example that is coming in my mind related to the Ravi scenario, Ravi's use case is that, for example, he needs to sell to the riders who are willing to ride from one point to another, and he's using advertising as one of his source of revenue. So he's tying up with different eateries on the way, for example, from Chandigarh to Delhi highway, and he's tying up with different dhabas and hotels, and he's using that revenue to support his system. So what kind of a growth hack what he can do is he can advertise at that particular spots as well, so that the other visitors also came to know about them. And as advertisers are already linked with him because of uh, the tie-up he already has, so he can he can exponentially market his product.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, possibly this is something that I would say rather than this being a digital, rather than I would basically go to all the dhabas actually and convince them to put up a banner rather than a digital marketing campaign for the same thing, and that probably I will happily call as growth hacking.
Ricky, I forgot to share. So this has already been done about with 30 odd of them, because we have, as a WhatsApp community, we have been existing for a long time now. So I already have a 2,000 plus customers base. So this, branding part at these outlets has already been done.
All right, lovely. Well, it still doesn't change the suggestions that the community actually contributed to you in this case.
Absolutely. Really appreciate that.
All right. Sorry, Devadeep, to put you in limelight for that particular question. This has been just tickling me for many months now. But we will move on. Yeah. So we'll move on to Rudraksh.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So from past 11 days, I've been involved in designing an Indian pandemic ventilator. So my whole efforts from past 11 or 12 days been contributing in designing a ventilator from existing parts for the situation that might occur in a situation pandemic grows. So it was a very interesting experience. I get to work with PhD and scientists from all over countries actually. There are 50 odd individuals with different skill sets, and people who actually are working in ISSCs, IITs, and individuals that are actually working in industries. So we were able to design the whole thing. And the most interesting part is I get to know about the gaping deficiencies that we have in our supply chain model. I had the model ready with me. We can make it in some hours if I get the necessary parts, but I'm not able to make it. And it is not just me. I'm sitting in Chamba, Himachal Pradesh. It's a remote area. People living in Bangalore were not able to make it with available parts. So what are your thoughts about this kind of deficiency in the supply chain model that we rely so much on?
Rudraksh, is it because of the lockdown, or you said these the usual supply chain issues?
Surprisingly, it was lockdown. Due to lockdown, actually, I was not able to get it delivered through Amazon or get it delivered to some courier, and local vendors were not available to procure it because in reality, everyone is sourcing their part from somewhere. So
Correct.
It was a very interesting challenge that we are actually still suffering from. We are not able to source parts.
I think that nobody has an answer to that, probably. Due to this lockdown, a lot of things have actually locked down, and there is a very broad line between the essential items defined and the essential items which are actually required. So, I don't think we really have an answer. I don't have an answer, at least, for this.
Well, I have a couple of opinions on this. Well, the supply chain, the entire industry in our country is not very organized. It is a bunch of many players working independently and working as a group, and that happened to supply most of the supplies. So it's like in the event like lockdown, the backbone is the travel. It is the trucks who shift the material. It is the labor who loads them and everything. So the backbone is cracked down right now. So going forward, if we really need to do something in such kind of situation in future, probably we need to work on a supply chain model which is direct. We can Like it has to be a one chain of the entire source to delivery. Unless there is a single a single vendor or a single industry or a single company doing that, we'll always have dependency on multiple factors and multiple chain links. And if one of the chain links breaks, we end up not having our supplies delivered as it is happening right now.
Interesting. So basically, you are proposing an automated supply chain model from vendor to seller and the buyer.
From source to buyer, it is basically it is something challenging to the current economy style, because even if it doesn't matter which country you are, practically there is a sourcing, there's a wholesaler, there's a manufacturer, there's a retailer, and the end part of that delivery happens from a retailer to the customer. Even if it is Amazon or what, it is a bunch of retailers selling online. That's it.
So Ashish, I would actually like your insights on this. You have worked in supply chain model, as you have quoted multiple times.
Yeah.
So how bigger manufacturers actually ensure supply chain of their components?
Well, there are multiple strategies involved actually. The Japanese have a single vendor concept, Indians have a multi-vendor concept. So because in India, anything can go into lockdown or curfew like we've seen in the last 30, 40 years. Other than this, there are other certain issues of, logistic bottlenecks also. Like I remember when I was working in Hero Honda in Gurgaon, even a 5-kilometer distance away vendor was not, committing that he will be able to supply in 30 minutes because there were so many traffic jams. So having said that, there are multiple strategies required. One was which worked really well across industries I have worked is a multi-vendor concept. You do not depend on a single vendor to supply any of your component, whether it is a A class, B class, or a C class one. Second thing is to go for multiple technologies also, if it is possible. Like certain component can be made in multiple ways. So of course there will be a difference in price, but then obviously it has its own pros and cons also. If you are ready to pay for that, like for example, some component can be made in 3D modeling way also, and it can be made in regular manufacturing way also. The pros is that in 3D modeling way you can make fewer pieces quickly, but if you have to go in thousands or millions of pieces, then you have to go in a mass production way. So both these technologies are having their own positive and negative points. So this is another strategy that we have worked for, that I have worked with in the past. And third thing is really to work closely with the vendor and not just simply or your customer, to really share the scenario of the ecosystem that is really prevailing. One has to be really involved in a lot of activities that your partner is doing, so as to preempt a lot of things that are going to come your way in future. Because a lot of times you may be in a better position to help out your vendor or your customer than he being doing it single-handedly. So these are some of the things supply chain manager has to keep in mind. And in a specific industry, there could be many more such initiatives that are required.
Thanks for your insight, Ashish. Anyone else would like to add something?
Yeah, I think Ashish had a lot of insights to give us. I can tell you what was going around in China, because I knew few manufacturers who were ordering goods from China all this while when they were in the peak of this pandemic. Complete supply chain was running in China during all this time. How it is the government. It is the government who has to do this. So I know shipping, worldwide shipping is running. It is running at this stage also. But then we take an example of China. Everything was being manufactured, everything was being shipped on time, even during this pandemic. But goods are not able to come to India, or they are stopped in Indian customs currently. They are not able to travel within India. So that supply chain model has to be from the government. I don't think we can do much about it at this stage.
Well, this situation is practically so unique in itself that nobody can done anything about it. Like in my last company which I worked, they used to make LED lamps, and just about every LED component comes from China. So for the month of February, they had a disruption after they opened up post the new year. They were supposed to start deliveries from 10th of February, but
Yeah,
they could start
absolutely. That
from
was
around
only
1st March.
the stoppage is annually only at the time of Chinese New Year. That is
No,
expected.
I mean, for the next 2 to 3 weeks also there was disruption, but now the situation is totally reversed. They are ready to supply, but the Indian customers are not ready to buy.
Yes, yes, because the I know few industrialists here in Punjab. Punjab had opened up industries. You can
Yeah.
function your industries, but then the industrialists, they have taken a call that okay, we are not going to open our industries because the supply chain is not there. The end customers in other parts of India are not ordering, and we will not be able to supply it to them. So why do we open our factories and we put up expenses on our heads? So that supply chain is a major concern. Yes.
So, in a nutshell, that we can conclude that human is kind of the weakest link in the supply chain model.
No, Rush, I have something to add, adding to the Arjun's point basically. So the way China's model works in logistics and the way our system works is completely different. The most important factor is capital, finance. So usually how logistics happen in our country is that you go to a company goes to a transporter, okay, transport my goods, and you will get the payment in, let's say 30 days or 40 days, right? That's like a days of outstanding debt, or even in 70 days or 80 days, something like that. And due to e-way bill and GST, it has come down to, it has come down to like 45 days. Now the problem exists is that the real truck driver or the real truck owner or container open does not have 45 days cushion to run his expenses. He needs the diesel expense today, he needs the border expenses today. So what happens is they go to the transporters basically act like a financer. So they buy the truck for, let's say, 40,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, or whatever the travel amount is, and they charge from the company something around 70, 80,000 rupees. So they make the actual their income is an interest on the expenses that they have done in the financing the truck. Whereas in China, if you keep the capital in a central position, so what will happen is every truck is financed. So it is only the will of a one truck driver to deliver, to pick up the goods and deliver it to the end customer. The same thing is not here. So here we have a divided capital to work with our logistics, and that's the biggest problem here. Because if one of the weak links, the transporter is not open, and if you're not allowed to gather people in a curfew situation, so how will you manage to get a transporter open his office, practically distributing money to a truck driver and finance the truck? Unless that happens, we can't really see the supply chain being conducted. So it is as well as the human link as well as the capital issue as well. So even if you go and find a truck driver right now, he's ready to take up the goods and go somewhere, but there's no transporter to finance him.
Very interesting insight, Vijay. Thanks for that. Another thing that I would like to ask is in this particular pandemic scenario, okay, I am paying my guys, I just paid salaries today. So I paid the whole amount. What you guys are thinking, how long you can do this? And are you feeling some disruptions coming your way for coming months? And what should be the morally right way to do?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and a lot of people should be able to relate to that one right now.
So we go alphabetical for this answer.
Yeah, probably.
Because
No,
everybody has this situation, I think. Yes, the right question.
Anyone can actually contribute. Arjun, I know that you are running a firm that is big in that case, so overheads are more for you as well.
See, except we are not a big firm. We are a very small firm. There are two parts of our firm. One is the HR business, which is quite down because none of the companies are hiring. I would not say none, but 90% of them are not hiring. Or even if they are hiring, the final decision would be after this ends. So there is one employee side and the other is the infrastructure side of the business. we can only reduce at this time, as a small company, we can only reduce the infrastructure expenses. We can ask our property owners to reduce our rents, which they are doing. In our case, they have done it. And we can reduce other static expenses. We can't reduce people's expense, because being a small company and being a service company, our manpower is what we have. We don't have any machinery. So we have pledged that, okay, we will be taking care of the salaries at least for next 2 months, even if we have to sell a property of ours. But then we have pledged that. Luckily, we are still getting some business to survive upon. But then we had pledged it much before. When it started, we had pledged that, okay, employee salaries is something which we are not going to give up. But obviously, employees have to perform in this duration. If somebody is taking a leave, or his laptop is not working, and he's not even willing to get it working, that is not the right person you want in future. So drop him off, but then you take care of your employees. That's my opinion for a small company. But then depends on your overheads.
Interesting, Arjun, very nice insight. Anybody else would like to add?
Rudrash, Sachin here. Actually, yesterday also I was in one of the industry talks, wherein they are assessing their future requirements. Are they overburdened with the number of employees? There's one study which has to be done. But on the other side, the word which you told, humanity, looking at that point, right now employees should not be fired. That was somewhat principally agreed, but there has to be a way which we can sustain that. So one or two ways which I heard during that discussion was that they were asking, they will be calling employees for one-to-one discussion, or maybe a group discussion or town hall meeting. They will be telling their cash flow availability, because till you are not open with your employees, you will not be able to sail this hard waters, right? So you have to tell them the situation. If you can be open, ask them what is the minimum, I'll say, monthly expenses they can share with you, which you are able to manage with your existing cash flow. Give them a commitment. Yes, this will be compensated as and when the business will, because they should also know if money is not coming, money is not going to go out from your pocket, right? Business is business. Business makes sense. If we are, it is not a bloodbath, right? We have to maintain this, whatever disturbances are happening. So one is this, whatever minimum they can take for the month to maintain their living, not a hi-fi living, minimal commitment. If they feel okay, then they should opt this. Otherwise, if they want to go away, they are open for that. We will not fire them. Second was, they take a 80%, 70% decrement in their salaries, which is a long way to go. Like if today they take 70-80% decrease, then at least their jobs are safe. You are having some compensation with you in base of your running cash, and long term you are able to manage them. So there are 2-3 ways they want to work upon, and which way employees says. I think what everybody agreed was to have an open discussion with the employees, because they are part and parcel of the family. That is what this was concluded.
So to add to Sachin's view, so one, personally what we are doing is, so some parts of our business basically employs white collar people, and then there are some blue collar people. So for the blue collars, and for the blue collars, what happens is that you have to work physically. For the white collars, pretty much everyone is remote right now, so they are being compensated as and when basically it's something that is, that is available as of now. Fortunately, there is no the way we structured the company, the way we structured the finances, at least this is not something as of a problem as of now for us, for the white collar ones. The blue collar ones, the business is entirely shut down as of now. And like Mr. Arjun said, we have also committed certain wages that we are going to support for a certain amount of period, that we will not shy away from giving out to them whether there is work or not. The reason why we are doing this is because this is the only time when you can actually instill that you are a safe company to work with, you're a dependable company to work with, and it's very important in this testing times, in my opinion. Because and that is how companies like Starbucks were formed. That is how people like, in my opinion, like I would expect Elon Musk to do such a thing in a way. But I have heard many examples where, and this is coming from books like primarily authored by Jim Collins or Simon Sinek, where leaders are trying to instill a company's image that is dependable, where people can actually work for you. So Simon Sinek basically says it in a very beautiful example where this is how Marines work. U.S. Marines, the Army people are basically trained in this way that, even if they die in war, they know that there is an extended family that is there that is going to take care of them. And with that feeling is what they are able to actually go out and be part of the action for the country. And that is the kind of feeling that you need to instill inside these testing times, in my opinion. And that is when you will, once you are out of this, these very employees will be so, in my opinion, and I'm hopeful, would be so loyal to you, in my opinion, that it won't see a match. I still see some other things, even in this blue collar employee set that we have, they themselves are not asking for salaries, because they know, because I have been instilling this kind of feeling already inside the company, and they are reciprocating already. They are saying that we didn't work, so we shouldn't be getting salaries, and it's okay, we are going to manage. And that is how they are. And rather, we are the ones who are saying, nahi, tum salary le lo. दूसरे कारण नहीं मेरे को नहीं चाहिए. So the entire equation has reversed in a way, which is kind of beautiful, because in my opinion, this is the kind of trust that I'm able to instill in my employees, and I really seek that all the companies who are part of this group should be able to do with them. I seek that, there used to be a time in ancient India, at least, where people never used to get fired, they always retired. And I think that particular thing has been lost, and we need to go back to that times in which nobody is fired as such, or exploited. They are just they retire when they have to. I wish that happens.
Very beautiful thoughts. Very beautiful thoughts. So, other than that, guys, what else you are doing in Corona pandemic?
Rudraksh will have to move on to some last set of people who are
Okay.
remaining over here.
My time is up.
Way before.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks.
All right. So we'll move on to Mr. Sachin.
Hi, good evening once again. So the question is related to my startup, which I am working on this from last 1 month. Sales primarily is the only department in the company which brings income. Rest are all expenses. This is what my motto is. So I have heard from the start of the meeting that sales is one of the things which persons are having anxiety. They are afraid of. I would like to hear from the meet. What is one thing which they actually are afraid of? Sales is not a small word. It is a big ocean. Is it a product product positioning? It is convincing the customer. It is training the team, or could be anything which I don't have word. So I would like to hear about that. What is one thing which you are afraid of, which you need, because that will help me in building the product strategy for myself. Okay. Second thing is very important thing. Are we having any technique right now to keep the goal settings with our teams, and how are we tracking it? Are we happy with that? Are we convinced with that? So these 2 points, if some few of the entrepreneurs can give me highlights.
I think I'll start with that. So the first, the thing that we are most afraid of, probably in my industry, because even if it's a CA practice, it's a business at the end of the day. The most shy away thing is to ask for money. It's like unless the client really needs you and he can't really leave you can't really just always shy away कि यार पैसे due हो गए. So that's the biggest shyness. The solution to this, what we did was, in my firm, we almost were close to 18 people sitting across different firms and all that. So what we did was we established a good accounting system that we will send invoices over the emails, we'll send reminders over the emails, and instead of we ourselves showing our face to the client for money, we'll have some other thing showing its face, like be it technology or be it a person calling the client, okay, ठीक है, आपके पैसे due. And the second thing is that I forgot your second question. If you can repeat that.
It was how you track your goals. Is there any system available or are you not able to have any system?
So what we are doing is, like in our firm, we do a recovery per hour thing for all our employees. So what we do is that we have a QuickBooks installed. They have this weekly timesheet system. So every employee is putting their hours into it, and against the project that they worked on or for the client that they worked on. So at the end of the day, we are able to justify two things, like whether the employee is actually engaged. Secondly, the projects he has worked were worth that much time or not. And third, whether the fees that we are getting from the client is actually sufficient to cover or do justice to our, like we have an internal rate card. If a particular person is working or a particular rank is working, whether this will be good enough for him to cover his standard as well as everything. So this is what we are doing. So
any other people in the room who would like to share what is the most scary thing for them in sales?
I think I've spoken to a large number of people during last few years where entrepreneurs are scary about sales is finding new leads. They're scared to go out in the market and try out new things, and even I was afraid, how do I get customers? The first and foremost barrier for me was getting a customer, because once you start getting emails or leads from customers, you're able to communicate, and because you are an expert in your field, you'll be able to tell them nobody else better can do that. But finding a customer barrier, I've seen it is still one barrier a lot of people still have in sales when they've not actually dived into sales. Your second question, how do we deal with the role settings? What do we do is a certain part of our business requires a lot of research because we are into product industry, so we innovate a lot. We do not do time tracking. What we do is we make out a KPI, monthly KPI, that this has to be performed or this has to be reached, or we even revise that within the month if there is a requirement. And then we evaluate that, okay, have we achieved all these things or not, well in time or not. As a service company, you have definitely timelines to take care of, because you are billing for that service, and if it is exceeding your billing limit, then you have to form a different model, or you have to increase your quotations. So that way we have two divisions. For our HR company, definitely our KPIs are based on the billing and the monthly targets for a person, what they have to achieve. It is also definitely money, but then there are other targets also, that okay, what kind of other key performance indicators you should have in this month. So that is what we are doing in our case.
Okay.
Sachinji, could you please reshare what is your product or service about?
See, Raviji, I have been to sales from last so many years. So I was having this impressions that startups, 80%, I don't know whether this is the correct number, they normally fail in the first 2 or 3 years, and they really struggle. The struggle can be of financial irregularities, what they have done, like using working capital in their own some other non-business usage. It can be mismanagement. It can be a co-founder getting out in between. And the last and the important was the sales. So since sales was one topic, I thought I would be working on it. Then when you're working on sales, so startups again do not have a full team of 8 to 10 persons or MBA into there. It is more of one single entity who is working for many things. So I was wanting to develop a product which can help a startup to quickly take that template, give it to the team, and at least start working on it. So that type of anxiety, what is normally is having ki bhai, how to do the sale. So it's not, it cannot be copied one to one. I was initially wanting to start with B2B because I have been to OEM sales. And then second topic was the goal settings. There are many times that at the annual end closing, when we are doing the employees assessment, that time we come to know that the employees have not performed as per the targets. So there are many, again, it's not everywhere. It is more of manufacturing companies which I have interacted. So they were saying they used to assess this only at the year end. And at the year end, you cannot do any corrections. So I was wanting to bring in again a template having some start date, end date, responsibility, consequences, challenges. It can be more things to be added up, which will actually bring in more result orientation, more accountability from the CEO to the the top floor to shop floor. This is what I am looking forward for. The shop floor should also be aligned to the target of the CEO of the company.
Yeah, Sajinji, sorry, I'm interrupting in between. What we also do is we have a dashboard which keeps on continuously displaying how much percentage of the KPI is completed by everyone.
So it means things
So
are available.
It's always, it's always visible to everyone actually.
So it is good practice which you are already there in there.
So probably what I will share is that one of the biggest fears I believe that why people do not venture into sales is a couple of things. Probably while I have been interviewing a lot of startups for almost 2.5 years now, I believe one is that they are too comfortable in their own thing. They think that sales is not their responsibility, but that is the biggest mistake that they are doing. And probably that is basically coming from a fear of rejection that works big time today, in my opinion. I mean, like, look at the the kind of audience that we have. This is a TikTok, WhatsApp audience that does not go out and ask numbers from girls. We'd like to Tinder it right now. So that is the world that we live in today, and that is what we are hoping for as well, that we do not have to pick up the call today or ask someone out. Let's do that on a Tinder, or let's do that over an email. And in my opinion, that is something that needs to change. And probably that is why I wanted this particular entrepreneur group to be a face-to-face thing, so that people should be able to do face-to-face. They should be able to pursue someone offline, convince them, सिर्फ ही छोड़ना तो लेकिन do it offline kind of. And what I think is the art of connecting to people is getting lost. People don't realize that sales, sales is an important part. Probably they are doing sales, but they don't want to do sales. Once, if you're out of your comfort zone. Second, if you, now you are free from your fear of being rejected. The third problem basically comes is how to do sales. And that is the techniques part, that how exactly it happens. And I don't know the fourth stage because we're at the third stage right now. So we are stuck at the third stage because in my opinion, what we are trying to do in our company, and we are trying to float a SaaS product, that we are right now doing kind of what is called first sales. So first sales is basically a person who basically comes into the company and basically designs the sales process. And that is where we are stuck. That is what we are navigating, that what in our sales works and what doesn't. So we have a lot of leads coming in, but and leads is something that we have mastered. Like, okay, we can have leads day in and day out. That's not a problem. Lead generation is not a problem. The sales part is. And that is where we are actually trying to possibly hire people, and without even hiring, we are shying from hiring because even we don't know how to do sales. Then how can
what is in sales, Ricky? That is the one question. What is sales? It means you're not able to position your product properly, or you're not able to convince the customer. I think one Viren told asking money for your services, or justifying that money against your services, because sales is big subject.
No, that I understand. And what are the other things that you're basically talking about over here? Like, asking for money is basically fear of rejection. We are past that. So that is not a problem. We are shamelessly asking for money. That's not that is how you need to do. That is how you'll survive in the first place. Right. And I don't know what are the other concerns that you basically said. I don't remember them, but definitely, like, for example, you're saying that people are not buying. That is, in my opinion, just the tinkering that you can do in terms of leads. So how you control the leads and how qualified those leads are, then that basically directly translates into can you actually sell them or not, kind of. So the process over here is the first sales part that we are trying to figure out. Just like marketing, just like product research, sales also is kind of a research that you do, that what process is going to work for you.
For you, correct.
And that is exactly where we are. That is what we are trying to figure out in our company. And that is where this is the only process in our company right now that is slow and not efficient, because it's just a research part as of now, for now. And to answer your second question, we basically follow something called OKRs. OKRs is objective key results.
Bang on. That is the only thing which I was working also.
Right, lovely. So those of you who don't know what OKRs are, it was a term coined by Andy Grove, the inventor of Intel. And he basically formed and coined this concept. Do look it up. And it is one of the things that companies like Twitter, Google, LinkedIn, they abide, and they treat that as Bible, not only for sales, but everything that they do today. So do look that up, and that is something that probably will help you.
That was the reason which I mentioned one word, if you have noticed, top floor to shop floor.
Yeah, I didn't read that kind of thing. I have been reading a book called Measure What Matters. So this is the guy who basically learned from Andy Grove and has been applying to companies like Google and LinkedIn and so on. He has been the consultant for OKRs and designing the thing and helping companies adopt OKRs as well. So he's the one who basically gets called for all that shit. So
just my 2 cents here in addition to what Ricky said. One is that it would be dependent from domain to domain, and in context of startups, from my experience, what I've seen something very critical, and I'm not sure if it is related to pertinent to your queries, not that in a startup scenario vis-a-vis a set big organization scenario, things are very different. People with the typical mindset that I have to do this only, they will not survive. So that mindset has to be there, that everybody kind of does everything.
Yeah, that was the reason which I was mentioning. For startups only, I was wanting to make a easy to implement template, which they can just take it and give it to the team. What I also heard during the discussions.
Well, I have something to add, that what I have learned over the period the hard way is that sales is something very different from our mindset. For example, many of us are come from a very technical background or a very deep-rooted background. So what happens is, sales is a people's job. You have to connect with the people and to make conviction. And this is something that we used to have. We used to get punished in in a childhood, like with class mein zyada baatein nahi karni, zyada dostiyan nahi karni. So what has happened is a lot of entrepreneurs, or even entrepreneurs in my practice, also comes from this sphere only. Is that we grew up in a very solitary mode. Like we sat down, in a confined locations. We read, we got degrees, and we know how to deliver and do the job. But the problem is that over the periods we have lacked those social skills. So unless, like, what I had to get more clients was to get into more social circles and everything. So
will the training for this purpose will help?
Yes, so that's where I was coming about. That most probably the very good thing to do would be to design a template in such a way that a person can do a checklist, that I have to do this 10 exercises on a random basis, and I have to accept that out of 100 people, 95 will reject me. So unless that attitude comes, you can't do a single sale.
Correct.
So it's more about your emotional and mental training, that comes into the play of sales, because even after having a lead, if you need to have the guts to call somebody randomly and get into him or her in a conversation.
Because
Absolutely.
see, I really believe on one point. I think you will also agree that 170 billion is not our target audience. So if somebody is rejecting my product, that doesn't mean my product is wrong. It means that it is not suiting him. Simple as that. Correct.
But Sachin, I want to add a couple of things here. When you're mentioning the whole topic that how people from technical background are generally very scared of getting into sales. So I personally, how I was scared of that initially was very basic thing of rejection, as Ricky mentioned. You know, we are not being from technical background, we are not used to rejections. A machine can tell me no, this code will not work, but a person telling me that comes with an ego. So to persevere that, so as Vijendra was saying, you know, that emotional aptitude is only built over a period of time. Only experience can teach you that. So I don't know a template will help there or not. One thing, but again, I have learned it over a period of time. You know, that's part of it. That now I love it. Now I'm all in, definitely. So now sales is my strength. But earlier on, that was my challenge. Saying, you know, when I'm sitting in my comfort zone, I'm not facing rejections as often.
What I was just now telling, if I mention one line, that if somebody is rejecting your product, that doesn't mean he is rejecting you. He is just saying that this product doesn't suit his requirement.
I agree, totally agree. But that knowledge,
and you can go ahead. You can go ahead further, no problem.
So that
if you have this in your mind, if you keep on reading this word, okay, this product does not suit him, and 170 billion world population is not my customer, so he's one of that. Simple.
And Sachinji, another.
So Nalin, I have something to say. It was not the template will help getting sales. The template will help build the aptitude.
Aptitude, correct.
Right. So in a way, you need to understand that you are not there to make a sale. You are there to make a friend, and when you will need that friend, you will call in a favor.
Vijendraji, I was about to second that. What the biggest lesson I have learned, and in terms of the template also, that people buy people don't buy products and services. So in context of template, you have to try to identify with some, I don't know, some psychometric test or something, that somebody has a natural flair for it or not. That person is likely to be more successful.
Thank you for
this.
But
Ravi, exactly. His point is the exact same thing, right? When he's trying to create a solution which is irrespective of whether this person's Ravi, Sachin, please correct me if I'm wrong here. But you're trying to solve the problem that if inherently I'm not designed to be in sales, you're trying to solve that person's problem. Correct. So it's not about picking a person who's very naturally, adaptive to the sales process.
No, it is just helping startups not to collapse just because of sales. Not they do not know how to sell. That is the only thing. So once they are big concern, once they are big corporate, they can hire MBA, CEOs, anybody they can hire. It is only the problem with the small startups, small companies which are less than 30. That is what my idea was.
So Nalin, I get you. So maybe, in this context, maybe a template to judge that maybe we have 10 people in the organization, maybe person A is more fit for this rather than person B,
Could be possible. Whoever is comfortable in understanding the concept should take that lead. Yeah, anyway, thank you for the inputs.
I think it's more like how to make friends first, kind of thing, in a sales. Like, you have to go to a bar, and if you know that some person is probably a good investor or buy, you need to have that guts. Go ahead and compliment him or her and just buy him or her a drink. Like that kind of thing.
Selling is human, I think so. It's
Yeah,
as natural as conversing with people.
No, I definitely second Vijender. He's absolutely right.
Over the period, what has happened is that we have lost that flavor, like how to talk to people.
Yes.
And sales is all about that. So you have to make friends. That's what I began, and why I started saying the template, because like everything we have learned in our early, first to fifth standard, how to do this, how to do that, we really missed that chapter, how to make conversation with a strange person or a strange.
जी आप implement नहीं कर रहे, हम मिले थे, आप मुझे drinks के लिए लेके नहीं गए, we are not.
Probably
Yeah.
you're not the choice for him.
We usually meet in a certain time when I'm always short of time. But anyway, we'll go sometime again. Don't worry.
This is what a girl tells you when she doesn't like you, you know.
Thank you everyone
I
for
never
the
heard that
input.
from a girl.
No, exactly. That's my point of view. That Vijender said. I think I have been studying sales a bit. It is exactly how you approach a girl, and the process is almost the similar. You have a lot of synonyms, I would say. And like Ricky said, we are in the age where people don't like to write a letter or don't like to ask somebody a number to go out. That is what sales is. You will have to reach out from your comfort zone and go ahead and ask people. Then only you're going to get a reply. If you see the sales funnels for usual products, you ask 1,000 people, you're able to sell to 2 people. So you have to go out and ask.
Right.
Indeed. So, thanks for a very good question, Sachin. It really brew a lot interesting
Thank you.
conversation.
If I am able to change one thought process today, any one team member, I will be very grateful.
Sure. So we'll move on to Utkarsh.
Okay, so at the moment, not much of a question, but I'll revisit this topic in a month. Is basically currently I have a decent number of clients. I'm doing fine, so I'm looking to scale this to say 2x, 3x. So obviously, I know I have to get in new clients, get in new people, but I think the first part I'm focusing on is standardization. Currently, say most of the things I do is on instinct. Most of the things my team do is on instinct. We get a new call, we have to sign up the client, we get some goals, we get going. I think my first part will be to standardize more processes, the client's journey, how to sign up a client, what things we can standardize, what things we have to live because they are creative. And with time, I think in a month, I'll have something more solid so I can discuss the progress, okay, how this worked out for me. And then I think I'll be able to talk more about it.
So anyone who has experience in scaling up their services, 2x, 3x. I'll go first. From my experience, I think scaling of services is basically just making things into protocols and scaling those up and having enough people who are guarding that protocol that it does not break. And the protocol can be in terms of how the leads should be generated, how many leads should be generated. Tying that protocol to a KPI is very important. And that particular KPI will also kind of, if designed carefully, it will also tell you that when you are short of people who could be doing certain kind of protocols that are there that need to be taken care of, because that is the heart and soul of your business. That is the one that basically keeps everything running. So that is, in my opinion, where you start. That is the start of any kind of scaling, in my opinion. Because if everything has been going on in an instinct, definitely you need to land some templates of
Yes.
rendering certain kind of services. So for example, I remember when we used to deploy marketable websites, not just websites, marketable websites. We used to have a checklist of some 43 tasks that we need to do before a website that is perfectly tested and it needs to go live. And unless that those 43 tasks are done, we won't actually do anything about that. We won't even call it a day. So, and there are a lot of softwares today that can actually help you to design task templates that actually you can do. And this is just one small example of how protocols probably can be deployed from a technological standpoint or a business standpoint.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what I'm saying. Not the, with the standardization, like this week only, I'll be prioritizing which things I have to standardize first, working on them. So in the end of 4 weeks, I'll be able to come back to this topic, what I've done if I'm facing a big wall or something. I'll be able to ask better questions.
Mr. Arjun, probably you were trying to share something as well.
Well, I remember when we started off services, our first year we were hardly breaking even. Then we found out we are increasing, we are scaling up, but we are still not making that kind of money with more clients as well. So what we started doing was we started filtering customers who were actually taking a lot of our time and they were not profitable to us. We were during the scaling process, the whole aim is not only to scale up in numbers, it is to scale up in profit as well. So yes, big ticket clients are must, and the clients who are consuming more of your time and energy than what they're paying, they have to be slowly either you have to increase the rates for them, or you have to tell them buy. That's my experience for the services domain. I think for the products domain, it is very standard. You really don't need any client to go, and you can just scale up. It's like manufacturing any product. That doesn't mean that you shunt us out. We are one of your clients. You should not do that.
Of course, of course.
All right,
Okay,
lovely. Any other insights from the community? All right, Utkarsh, I hope that answered your question. And like you said, you can actually come back to this particular question again. We'll move on to Virat.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, actually, I am like we talk about that friendly thing, like be friend with customer, be a family like that. The problem I face with that is they basically discuss like more about price, like keep it down and all. So you are experienced person, like we are doing it for like 2 years, but you guys are more experienced. Can you help me with that? Like how to convince them that this is worth it, and how what to do when they say that they are getting cheaper prices like in or competition.
Yeah, sounds like a sales question to me, Sachin.
Yeah.
Yes. So Virat, very clear. First of all, it is my strategy. Never compare your product with a competitor, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And never discuss pricing. Never disclose your pricing in start.
Okay.
Your product strategy or product presentation should start with their problem. It is
Okay.
again part of the sales, that what is their burning problem. Like if you go for when you are having a headache and you go to a chemist, do you ask price of aspirin ki how much it is going to cost? No. Right? When you go for shopping, any other thing which is not essential, then you start bargaining it. Right? When you go for a heart attack, some medicine, so you don't ask a price. So first of all, you try to find a situation which is going to address, your product is going to address in their business scenario. If you do your homework first, homework first, they will not discuss on the pricing.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good
Pricing
thing.
is secondary. You just say the value which you are going to add in making them grow their business. That is what you have to show. If you add this value, like I give you a small example. Have you heard about SAP? SAP is a ERP software which is implemented in the big corporates. SAP do not bring any value or say sasta kar lo, mehanga kar lo. They say your total overall corporate productivity level will be higher. And they don't discuss also. This is one example which I am telling. So if you are able to make him understand how he is going to get benefited in his business to grow his business, he will not talk about price. And never ever talk about competitor, never ever talk about competition. Yes, I am better than him, or he might be less than me. Don't bring that, because then it will be a different ball game for you.
Okay. I tried that also, that but not like
keep on practicing.
specifically.
Keep on
That
practicing.
problem, yeah, that problem after I was that they're like, bhai, please kar de yaar, you are my
Nahin.
bro and all.
You see,
Then I'm
first of
like,
all, I tell you, don't compromise on your income. You tell him, I will give you additional services. You say, I'll give you 24-hour extra down, like any help service. I don't know whether you are giving after sales service or what type of services. Don't compensate on price. Don't discuss on price. You talk, sir, this is my price, which is I am what, and I am telling you, don't negotiate on the pricing. If you are 100% sure of your because see, why I'm telling you again, I'm again and again I'm telling you, India is 130, whatever the population is there. Everybody is not your customer. If somebody is just bargaining on a price, if he's really pushing you to the walls, please. It is a hard way to sell in the sale, but please leave that customer. Let him taste the competitor first.
Basically, don't get a bad customer.
Simple as that. You don't get a customer which is going to pinch your income. And when you are giving your 100%, let customer give you 100%. Then you both will be on a win-win situation. Neither you will have, and finally, I'll tell you one thing which I'll say, you always, if really you have to negotiate, if you don't want to say no to the customer, you go to a customer with a walk-away price. And before getting say no to the customer, you offer him the walk-away price without hitting your margins badly. You have to have margins in your product because you don't know the surprises what are going to come during the delivery of the process.
Yeah, actually, that's
right. You keep those margins and be firm on your walkaway price. If you are saying 100 and walkaway is 80, you say 80, and when you are walking out of that cabin by saying no, you will not have a regret in your mind. Yes, I have said no to a customer who I have come to this level, but below this level I'll be bleeding. So if you don't want to bleed, because your company is your responsibility, his company is his responsibility, if he is managing his responsibility, you are supposed to manage your responsibility. You cannot bring bloodbath into your profile.
There's something I want to add here. Well, first of all, you need to see that what sort of customer you're talking to. Is he your bread and butter customer, or is it your add-on customer? Like if he is likely to add maybe another 5% of your sales, or is he like your 50% of your sales customer?
Okay.
If he is a bread and butter customer of yours, then there has to be a very flexible strategy you have to keep in mind, because he might not be impacted by choosing another supplier, but you will be definitely impacted a lot. You might be you might fold up if you lose this customer. So when you are approaching that, one thing you have to, as Sachin rightly said, have a no regrets price in your mind. Keep some margin when you're quoting a price in the first place. But at the end of the day, if he is too important to lose, then there are things other than price which you have to tempt him with. Right? Something like an add-on feature or whatever it is. So price is one thing. You have to convince your customer that price is just one part of the whole deal, and it is certain other benefits that he can accrue. So that might cost you a lot also again, but then that will help you keep your customer in fold if he is a bread and butter customer.
Actually, that happened. Because of that person, like he didn't give me his business before, but by his name or his reference, I got 2 more businesses, which I earned well.
That's great.
So that's why I basically get the client and pitch him less price. So that's why I want to ask that, so I am going good in that, or I should change this strategy.
Because what does a product cost to you is also quite a subjective task. Is there a marginal cost involved that, okay, you're already making 1,000 pieces and you have to make another 5 pieces? There's no extra, overheads required, only the direct cost involved. Or if you have to make a totally new product in the first place, then of course your R&D efforts are there, your testing and whatever all efforts are required, those are to be incorporated in a cost. But again, I would say that evaluate that how important this customer is to you, and then keep your strategy flexible.
Okay.
If you ask me that, in sales, I do not negotiate at all. I mean, like if this is a price, then this is what it is. If a person, generally, I would actually walk in with 3 options of prices. That this is what you would get for three different levels of services. and generally we tend not to negotiate. Secondly, what we actually do is that, like Mr. Sachin suggested over here, is that we have a bare minimum thing that below which we are not going to work at all. So even in those options, if person basically says that, okay, I'm going to give you bulk and so on, even in that situation, we basically have a minimum price inbuilt that we will not negotiate with whatsoever. And these prices are generally built with a lot of margins. So generally, if a person is negotiating, either of the two things are happening. Either you are replaceable, you have not been able to establish your USP, and if that is the case, then you need to establish that as soon as possible, because if there is nothing that he can compare against, then the last and obvious thing to compare on is price. So so immediately what you need to do is you need to establish your USP. That can be your service, that can be your add-ons, that can be your expertise, that way. We have seen even clients that we didn't negotiate. They would actually go out, try on the competitor, and they come back because they did a poor job at it, kind of stuff. So we were giving out USP. There are people who would say that nee, we can actually do the same thing, kind of stuff. But saying something, delivering something are two different things for sure. But secondly, we tend not to negotiate. We would say that these are the basic principles that we have, and if we are to negotiate, probably that is not the client that you want in the first place, because either I did a bad job at selling my USPs to him, or he was not able to understand maybe, or he has definitely other providers that he can actually consult. And in that case as well, probably you need to position yourself better than what you have been doing so far.
Okay.
There is one more strategy to it, adding to Ricky's point, is basically counter negotiation. It is like, why let the customer negotiate with you on price? So, like, if it is a service offering, you can take out a bunch of service offering and collective serving offering, and then you divide that into 3 different options. Option A will be like, we'll be doing this much work, and this will be our fee. Second will be, we'll be doing this set of services, and then this will be our fee. If it is a product, then the strategy becomes very different. But the thing is, even the technology products, it has seen many times, and I know from experience, because we were sitting in a sales meeting where SAP was a competitor way back like 6-7 years ago. So in my corporate strategy days. So basically, it is good to have a counter negotiation. If the part is negotiation on the price, you start negotiating the service that this will do and this will not do. So in a way, if he really values your service, he will be a good customer to attain, and he will pay you the full price. And if he is not a good customer and he doesn't really know what he needs, so you sell him the least effort required service to him, even at a low price, and you still make a good profit.
Okay, then thanks Sachin, Ashish, and Ricky, and obviously CA Vijender Singh. And the irony is the client name was Ricky only, but like you, not this Ricky.
I have a small thing to contribute. While we are selling some service, what we do is we go by the psychology of the buyer. So what goes around in the buyer's mind when he's coming? Well, one of the example is one of our website which sells very niche services. We have a phrase written on that website that if you have reached till our website, you are definitely looking for a trusted service provider. It means if somebody is searching for you or he's searching out, that means he's either burnt by somebody else or he's a new customer. So first you have to know that is the customer already knowledgeable, or he has been using these services before with someone. If he has been using these services before with someone, he knows you are the right choice for him, and then he would generally not negotiate with you, or you don't negotiate with him. So you have to know that if he's a new customer whom you have to educate, then it's a different story. He would try to negotiate, and he doesn't know what is the right price for this service fit. So you have to understand, after your first meeting with the client, you have to understand, lay down the points, what is the psychology behind him to purchase this product. So once, even you take your own example, once you go out buying any service, what goes on in your mind? When you like a person, generally, when you're taking a service, it is the first 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, the person already decides that he has to go with you.
Okay.
It's generally like that. But then you have to judge that as a psychological. There are a lot of books available, and our group suggests a lot of good books. You can go on Amazon and search for good rated books, and you can just read the theory, psychological theory behind buying, and that's how you're going to quote your price. Generally, yes, you don't go below sustainable prices, and there has to be a good profit margin to everything you sell. Except products are ready, you don't have any liabilities, so you can sell it at a lower price also. It's just an add-on sale for you. But for services, every time you have to perform with quality.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot. It takes a lot. A lot of the people here in this particular group only have left out services, moved to products because of this reason only, that you have to perform each and every stage, and then you have to go down dig business again. So just a small take from my end.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Arjun. And as you
Of
said, you are
books,
also an advisor.
Mr. Sachin, would you like to recommend some sales
Yeah.
books for the community?
No, I normally don't believe on the books. It is more of practical approach. But in case I will have something with me, I'll surely pass on to you.
Well, the thing is,
Because see,
I'm also
why I
practical.
am telling this ki, if you Google it, YouTube is full of so many online gurus and gyans is available.
Yeah.
But still, it is not applicable for each and everybody.
That's the thing.
Right? Reading books is not going to solve the purpose. It is strategy has to be made on the product basis, on the person has to learn actually physically.
Yeah. But the thing is,
Well,
I'm
that is
also
true,
not.
but I still believe that some of the sales books, some of the wisdom can be extracted from the books. I mean, like not everything can be
Ricky,
extracted.
Google is there then. I will not suggest anything. Google is there. My feeling is it is better to have an experiential learning going ahead. This is what my take will be.
All right, lovely. We have Divadeep who's left. Divadeep, would you like to go?
Yeah, hi. I don't have any questions at the moment.
Anyone who is left that has, Mr. Vijender, you have been left.
Yeah, I am left, but I'm willing to donate my time to Rudraksh. I love hearing what he has to say and the questions he puts. So, if the time allows, so he always brings the most interesting questions and most interesting complex situations. So I would love to hear him if he's here.
Okay.
Rudraksh, this is the last session, anyways, and I know that you were trying to ask a question where we had to cut you off. So you can continue your question, shall you want?
Did we hear Virat?
Yeah, actually, sorry, I received a call. I told you that I was doing streaming things, so that too, actually I was doing simultaneously with this call. So I received a call for that. They are going live. So I missed something. So I just want to thank you all, whatever you said, like all the officer suggestions, like Sachin and Ricky and Ashish, and obviously Vijender Singh and Rudraksh. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, man.
Okay.
So, guys, I don't have anything else to contribute. I would just want to ask how you are doing.
So how are you doing in this time? So
I was going kind of cuckoo before I got that ventilator project because I just packed my bags and left my home for fully with just my laptop, nothing more than that. And I am now stuck in Himachal Pradesh. So it's been a month in quarantine for me now. Uh, it was actually a nice experience. My parents are quite nice.
That's a good one.
I didn't knew that. It was longest vacation of my life at my home.
You just got to know that?
Yeah, actually, I haven't spent that much time at my home for years. This is my longest vacation that I'm staying at my home.
Are you the one who is saying Corona Zindabad?
Yeah, it actually changed a lot of things in my perspective. The things I valued more are not that much valuable anymore. And I'm kind of getting back a sense about building a tribe. Okay, we are so much depending on supply chains and our isolated lives and taking things for granted that this particular forced isolation kind of have taught me the value of tribe, the value of village and value of people, to be accurate. So it was a very nice experience and it's still going.
Actually, one nice thing this time has done is to realize us what really values to human life. So I was in conversation with some other people, and they were like, we really need to rethink about how we see our farming, basically, in farming associated business, because we always look down upon them. Ki yaar gaon hai, gawar hai, ye hai, wo hai. But at the end, whatever technology you build, whatever computer you build, you can't eat them.
Exactly.
So probably this time will actually force many of us to think about how to contribute to that sector of the economy where we can think of how to get a sustainable food supply for the rest of us.
Right now, I'm actually in talk with some of guys present here to kind of take a village, adopt a village, and revolutionize it, so that we can support that village with our know-how, and they can support us in situations like this, because it is quite eye-opening that how helpless we are with all the zeros in account. We can't get shit done. So it's quite interesting, and people are actually living. I was amazed how village people are actually doing. They are not bothered by this shit. केड़ा करो ना तेरा, ठीक है? We got everything because साल का राशन पड़ा हुआ है यार. We are going to starve first. So right now I'm seriously thinking about adopting a village and getting a village home or something like that, getting involved with the village, learning how they live, and enriching these people, raising their standard of living. So I can be a part of a village if something like this ever comes up.
So after this things ends, probably we'll see a lot of anaj ki tankiya getting buying out. No, everybody is storing for at least a year or so.
People used to store a lot of grain in the older days.
We still do actually.
Yeah, that's amazing if you do, but we usually don't do that because we take it for granted. Yeah, aa to raha hai, kya easy day chakkar maar liya, Reliance chakkar maar liya, we will get that. So I was amazed. We are kind of back to basics now. So I was another day I talked with Ricky that the things that we hold so important. It was just I think so, Ricky, it was January or something like that. We were talking about the sales projection of this year. That this is the kind.
Yes.
This is the kind of target that we are going to touch now. And now whole fucking priority has been changed. Now it's about survival. That are we going to see another month? So it's kind of a perspective shifting. How you people are actually doing it?
So Rudrakshi, I've also been spending a lot of time in Himachal since December. I just got out in time on 15 just before the lockdown. This adopting the village thing that you said, it's a great idea. I've been speaking to my Himachal-based friends, and I'm sure you are aware. I just came to know you belong from there. That apart from government jobs or agriculture, there is not much there. But I know some people are already making an effort in this direction. There's this friend of mine. They kind of set up rural BPOs in Uttarakhand, and they really scaled that very well. So some people are working in this direction, working with a bit of success.
Right now, that is quite amazing, Ravi. I would like to get connected with those guys if you can.
Probably
Gopi is trying to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, Gopinath.
So basically, I'm at a level in my life actually, like I'm at certain level. I want to find some mentors actually who can take me to the next level. So what do you think is some of the good platforms to find them, or how do I find my mentor?
Ricky is right there in front of you.
Yeah, but Ricky is so busy. I don't think he can do. I would love to have him.
I can be connected, off and on anytime, but I don't think I'm ready for mentorship as of now. I think.
Yeah, not as dedicated, but if I have a certain question, can I reach? I mean, I just need to figure out who are at a level more than me. Then only I can. I think that's the homework I need to do. But what platforms are there? Like online platforms?
About finding mentors, I think so. A mentor can be a person that you actually admire, and you can only admire a guy that you know.
Yeah.
So you need to know people. See, I have multiple mentors in my life. I admire different kind of guys, and they're different on domains. And I try to model some of those. These guys can be. Some of them are dead. I am just reading their books and admiring.
Yeah, this is
You get a snapshot of guys who have written them.
Yeah.
But, some are living. You can talk with them. Try to find a common ground. And the most interesting thing that I actually found, kind of a golden mantra for me in finding mentors and talking with guys way above my category, is free value generation. Can you generate some value for somebody without asking for the monetary benefit?
Yeah.
Can you? So if you are able to give your expertise or just a genuine concern
Yeah.
for a topic, I think so that's a great conversation opener, at least. And conversation leads to knowing people leads to friendships, and friendships actually are the commonality where mentorship actually occurs. Mentorship in a pure dynamic is a friendship where you are quite honest with the other guy that, okay, I'm going to do this shit now. So that other guy can say, man, don't do this shit, or do this shit, or do this shit in this manner because I have done it.
Yeah.
So it's about creating the whole dynamic. And the thing is, I don't believe mentors. See, if somebody is branding them as I am a mentor, there is something wrong with that.
Yeah. We should go and actually seek out.
Basically, it's more about networking. You go and meet friends, keep asking questions, keep taking their opinions, and if you really like somebody, then just have some more conversation, and there is your mentoring session. You don't need to have sit down with that person particularly and say, okay, 9 to 12 today is a mentoring session for me. No, you don't need to do that.
So you don't
just
enable that, especially it has to happen under the hood.
Yes, go and meet people as much as you can, and keep asking them. And it's important to question. It's important to do the right questioning. If you're gonna do a lot of wasteful questions and some of them were very obvious, probably you will get a lot of friends, but you will miss out on the good people.
Right.
So you need to prepare a quality of your question in such a way that only good people respond to it, and you get in with their touch again and again.
Actually, I'm trying that. I bought Saturdays for my wife and family. So on every Saturday, I try to attend meetups and try to meet friends, new friends. But having a continued relationship is something that I'm not able to hone on, basically.
Are you physically present in meetups? Sorry, Ravi, I cut it off.
No, sorry, please go ahead.
Are you being present in these meetups?
Yes. Bangalore.
Okay, Bangalore. So, have you pursued some of these guys after those?
I wanted to talk to Ricky all the time, but I'm sure he may be busy. I myself put it down. I didn't even reach him.
You will get him eventually.
So
I don't know how effective they are, but Gopinath, I have come across a lot of this stress on the Startup India platform, where they have region-wise, they are trying to connect people to mentors of specializing in domains. I haven't seen any feedback. How effective is that? But I think that's one area you can look into and connect with those people.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
And everyone else, Vijendraji, how you are doing here?
Just nothing, sir. Just trying to find some important things to do. So it's a good time to find some alternative skills that you might have. So basically, and as far as the business goes, that it's on a complete halt, especially our industry, because it's like every compliance is postponed, everything has been postponed. There are only very less amount of work to be done right now, and we are working on it. So apart from that, since the business is being damaged and the revenue is not coming out, so we are holding on our expenses and we are making use of our digging into savings and everything. Apart from that, as the free time per se, as you rightly said, we're discovering ourselves. So there's nothing much to say on that.
Okay,
Yeah,
Ben.
on my
Everybody.
side, what is happening is that this is we have initiated one of the most massive um, scale up campaigns in terms of lead generation that we have ever taken up so far in our history. So we are ramping up sales. We are ramping up marketing as much as we can. We want to be not only counter this, so-called recession in with a beefed up marketing or sales process, but come out when the entire world basically comes out of this thing. Eventually, it will. Then position ourselves in the best way. You see that Warren Buffett basically invests into companies when there is a bloodbath on the market. There is a reason to that, because some of the gentlemen over here shared that the ad prices are 1/3 right now, and so are the competitors. They are not really investing into stuff anymore, and that is the right time to actually start placing yourself, start building your campaigns, and start scaling your marketing as of now. So this is the right time to actually scale up. This is the right time to, you are being broken down. So you need to start the process of building up yourself in it. So that is where most of our time is basically going as of now. Long-term campaigns.
That's great, huh? At least it can be a game changer if you can play it right. Because everyone else is just on hold. It all breaks up. Let's panic apocalypse now situation.
Yeah, this is the right time to actually invest in, either invest in yourself or invest in your sales campaigns or invest in your business. I mean, like one of my e-commerce is down right now. Of course, there are no sales happening. No physical goods can move. It's not an essential goods. But we have been ramping up as a design. We have ramping up its conversions. We are investing into products and how we can procure more of them. We are working on the sourcing. On the services side, we are building up landing pages like crazy. So definitely, this is a time to invest. This is not time to slow down. This is time to double down on something and actually move forward, in my opinion.
Great perspective. Particularly when everyone else is about to break down, it's a different way out.
This is the opportunity. This is the time when you thrive, which should be thriving right now. So that is just my perspective, but that is what I'm doing as of now.
That's good. That's seriously good.
So by the way, I'm working on a paper and a book. So in the meantime.
चलो बढ़िया सर जी मैं भी अभी ओएससीपी का पढ़ रहा हूँ यार आजकल रात को
not academic, absolutely non-academic.
That's great.
In our case, things have moved up quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. I think the reason being everybody is at home and everybody is justifying their jobs, so they are replying to emails very, very quickly. And surprisingly, we had so many demos in last 2 weeks which we never had in last 6 months. And we don't know when the sales are going to close, but at least we could get them to come online and we could get them to reply to our emails. We never had this plan, but it just worked out for us. So before we could make out a plan that what we are going to do with the ideal days, I thought I'll be studying on some online lectures, but till date I've not got time for that. Surprisingly, this has turned different for us. Hopefully it goes like this.
What you people have been experiencing? What is your experience with work from home, per se?
See, work from home, my experience, I've been talking to various people in the industry. All the employees are really burdened. Where they were never working from home, they never had this culture. Now they have to work from home and they have to justify their job. I was telling somebody, now we are monitoring. We are in fact not monitoring, but we are using a software which monitors their computer activity. Ricky suggested us Hubstaff, and that is doing very well. So it gives the activity percentage. Now, we would have never done that in office, but in remote we are doing that, and we come to know about their efficiencies in percentages. So they have to justify their time, and they have to justify their efficiency as well. So it is becoming a burden. It is becoming a burden to all the industries which are working from home. I had somebody calling me. He's very senior position in a bank in US. He says, I used to work 2.5 hours in the office, and the rest of the time I was just moving around in the office or talking to people. Now I have to work 8 hours, and it is killing me. Why? When am I going back? And that's happening. We are seeing emails over the weekend because everybody is working from home, and working from home means that you have to be working. You have to be always online. So everybody's expecting that. So in a way, it has turned out good, but for the industries, for the supply chain, it is not a very good time. But for IT, I think even for cybersecurity, I have a friend who works in Zscaler. I just saw their ad today with increasing work from home.
Yeah.
Security is a major
Increased
concern.
risk. Yeah. Seriously.
So yes, there are opportunities available.
The Zoom that we are right now using, the previous version of it had an RC, remote code execution. So
Yes.
I'm just going to uninstall it after this meeting.
No, we use Zoom paid versions because surprisingly, everybody in the world is using Zoom for demonstration purposes.
Yeah, it actually
And frankly speaking, I don't know the reason. Google Hangout is just the same. For that matter,
People just don't
Skype
want to
screen
use
sharing
Google.
is just the same.
I think it's just about a trend, like go to webinar on, they've gone on the days, they're still being used, Skype and now Zoom. So anyway.
No, actually, Zoom is more reliable with the low internet also. With the basically Hangout and Skype, you will face like, can you hear me? Can you hear me like that? But Zoom, once you connected, you connected.
No, but Skype for business does not, like, it works on low internet as well. At least the voice part does that.
Yeah, and like for business, obviously, like mostly business have landline. But like
Yeah,
now,
but then
definitely,
Skype for Business has a limitation that everybody has to be there on Skype for Business. Then only it works. While Zoom, only one person, the host has to be.
It also works in the web browser, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, it brings me to another thing that, how many of us have a second office at home, and are we, after this has happened, like it's going to be a new market for everyone, how to install a second office at house.
Yeah, so we should have some tables to be sold out. Moment, I think here we have one, but that is occupied. There are 3 work from home people at my home, so I get the last chance anyway. So I have to struggle out to sit on sofas or dining table or something. But yes, you're right. We have to have something now onwards. In fact, we will instruct our employees to have something. We might even pay them for that. But yes, it is going to be a must.
I was just reading.
That's going to be investment. Oh, sorry to cut you down, sir.
No,
Go ahead. So like that will be a new agenda for the entire industry to have a work from office home setup in every key employee at their company, because it's not about just a table or a chair. It's going to be about a printer. It's about a good connection.
Correct. We were even thinking to actually ask our employees to have a broadband connection as a must. We may pay partial of it, or we may pay full, but then that will become a must now, I think.
I was just reading a study. The normal employees are actually working way much more working from home. The number of hours being sitting on computers has went up to nearly 10 to 11 hours.
Absolutely, it is right. We are seeing that.
Yeah, that is not happening in my company. These guys actually gang up and they play online games like Age of Empires and kind of stuff. I'm like, they've even dragged me into the same thing. I'm like, it's crazy.
But you can ask them to connect.
No, in your case, since your team has always been remote, so this is the team activity. Probably you can get the best out of the team activity in such a case.
Yeah, I'm playing and I'm learning the games as well, because this is just a team building over here.
Remote team building. So you have a good use case to share with everyone. How do we do remote team building exercises?
Yeah, probably by the month end, I will be hosting training videos how to play Age of Empires like a pro.
I think so everyone should have a YouTube channel too now, of a gaming and streaming channel.
Yeah, which games are best for work from home?
How
Which
to boost
improve the
employee morale
efficiency
by
the
video games.
most.
Yeah.
I would
People are actually
conclude.
trying to go remote fully after this thing. I mean, like, is this something that has crossed your mind? Like, I mean, like,
Yeah,
okay,
actually, it did.
One thing good has happened is one of the HR company we had, our employees used to always tell us that we want to work certain days from home, this and that, our families and all that. After this, nobody wants to be home for a long time.
So as fascinating it sounds, work from home actually has some of the downfalls as
Yeah,
well. The
obviously.
psychological impact and all those stuff. So for a short period of time it works. For a longer duration, it does not. It really sucks.
Yeah, I concur with that. It's not that the productivity is failing. It's just your social environment. You're sticking to your own family. You're not going out. So that's the missing part. I think the work is
It's a
not
lot.
suffering at
It's
all.
a lot psychological actually. You're sitting in the same position, seeing the same screen and meeting the same people all day. So
You can't order anything online. I'm
That is
not posing
temporary.
that.
there you are. Well, I have been doing remote for almost a year now, and I can assure you this thing: you basically grow out of it. That being stuck in the family day and night and more kind of. So definitely you grow out of it, and productivity, like you said, the productivity is not being hampered. But this is definitely management of your psyche, which is something that I have learned the hard way. After the lockdown, rather, it was actually difficult for me at some point. I had a little small episodes of depression at times, which I could realize that, okay, this is something that is wrong with me. And, the moment you basically realize the half of it is basically just done, gone. And then you have to work towards that kind of stuff. So, in my opinion, lockdown has done an entirely different thing for me rather than I could just take a walk towards all the other streets and so on. Now I'm not doing that, and I just need to compensate those particular activities so that I can stay sane in the working environment that I have. But this is a working environment that I have been pursuing for over a year now, and I have nothing but appreciation for that as of now.
Ricky, I remember one of your messages in the group. If you can, I was curious to understand it a bit more. You mentioned in context of work from home only, when you meet people, that serotonin, some chemical thing you wrote, if you remember. People are addicted to some chemical generated when you meet people, something like that.
It is serotonin.
Dopamine.
Serotonin does that as well, right, Rudraksh? Or you can correct me.
Serotonin, dopamine, multiple.
I really can't tell the difference between all of them.
Right, but that is also one of the things that why I had been conducting these particular events offline, or at least I basically request people to share their faces, because at least that is the closest thing that you can actually get to human touch in these testing times as of now. Yeah, Gopinath just turned on his camera because of the same thing. So, and that actually gives you that positivity actually flowing. At least 30% to serotonin aega yaar. That is something that is what is happening right now for this thing, and this is why, in my opinion, this group has been growing, and a lot of people have been coming back, in my opinion, because this helps in those particular times when we are just the Tinder community as such.
I'm having a serotonin overtaker here.
Yeah, there you are. Good.
So he's just banging my office door for quite some time now. So here is a nice cup.
So on the other hand, a lot of yoga applications subscription has gone up. Like, I don't know, if people are now talking about Yoga Go, Asan Rebel, and everything. Which is
Yeah, like I've been using that Headspace thing for like what, 6 months now. It's pretty good. Like you select anything, you just press go and everything's there.
That's
Yeah,
great. मेरे को
Headspace is
लगा
pretty
उत्कर्ष
good.
गाली देने वाला है Headspace पे.
Headspace is
6
pretty
महीने
good.
यूज कर रहा हूं, अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ.
It's going quite fine. Like I wasn't a regular user in first 2 months, then time to time, like 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 times a week.
I think there was a meme we received today on one of the messages. It says that first time in the history, all the women know where their husbands are. So I don't think we
On the dining
should...
table, that is.
Somewhere also in
So,
kitchen.
so now they know what you exactly do in office. So like, yay karte ho.
In my case, I've been lucky. I have gone more busy during this lockdown. I was never so busy in when we were in office, so it has worked for me, and they know that I'm really working.
Probably I was the luckiest. Mine one is at her house before the lockdown. So I am having the biggest smile and everything.
That's your achievement.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
That's how you planned it, I think.
No, I was blessed
Meticulous
with that.
planning.
The gods are on my side.
Yeah, I would conclude this meetup.
Or maybe
success.
China.
No, somebody is recording this, huh? Better be careful.
It's being recorded. I'm gonna put this online.
Editing कर ले रहे भाई ऐसा नहीं. सच्चाइयाँ बाहर आ जाएगी.
No, it's good to have such kind of laugh session as well, because everybody else is struggling as well. So
that's true. I actually, frankly speaking, I missed on the Bangalore meetup because literally I was not in the mood. It was just depressing all over. But then I actually wanted to do that. This, at least at Chandigarh, I started this. I was like, a lot of you guys have actually pushed me that, we need to have the online version. I never was in favor of that. I was kind of devastated that I cannot go to Chandigarh this time and actually do this. I love being there. I love being between you guys. But then I realized that, whatever that I'm going through, probably a lot of people are going through as well. And I just took it as like, this is probably my responsibility that I have taken up, and I just need to do better. Now is the time actually this particular community needs to start communicating in a better way, I think. So here we are with an online meetup, and probably we'll be having more of these now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it was great talking with you guys. It was liberating, kind of made me forget there is a pandemic going on.
3.5 hours have flown by.
That's true.
Yeah,
actually.
So
All
I
right,
would
guys.
conclude it as success.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely. It was amazing.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. And it
thank you for
was
conducting this
definitely
actually.
lovely, my pleasure. And this is something that, concluding comments is this: I learned a lot from. I have always learned a lot from this particular group. Gopinath, I actually use this group as my own mentor in a way, because in every meetup, basically, I learned something new from the collective wisdom that is there. So that is there. And thank you all for joining today. That too at a very short notice, actually. I was just figuring out the software. And thanks to Deepak Singla, especially because he donated his Zoom account for the same thing. So yeah, community basically helped in that case. So yeah, thanks. It was really nice meeting you all, and we hopefully meet very soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ricky. And thank you.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.